A long farewell. Happy to say goodnight, girl. Oh no, I wasn't speaking close enough to the mic. Where do I have the audio on? Who knows? Hello, people are nut. It is I, Unknown ABT, here currently checking audio levels on YouTube and Twitch, making sure nothing screwed up. Holy hell. I have a slight delay on YouTube.
What is Yu-Gi-Oh?
That's fine. That's relatively fine. You know, I just also forgot? I forgot to check. I don't know if I, started playing, the music right. Wow. That should be good. Restream chat open. What is Yu-Gi-Oh? I don't know at this point. Hello, Frost. How you doing? Any free tuning? Let me casually do a thing. I had an epiphany. I don't have other chat open. uh, damn, you know, you really should have these things open beforehand. Oh. I do have the tier list open, though. Joke's on you. I had it opened. Thankfully, someone else made that. What the hell? Give me a second. I know I have, like, pop-ups locked on here, but sometimes it still comes up as a stupid fucking bubble. I just have to re-roll and hopefully I don't get the bubble. Is that fine? Because, you know, they do really stupid to make ad blocker not usable in some cases. Okay. Well, that's probably fine. Restream. 99% Gaia by volume. Oh, for sure. No, we're still suffering Gaia. No. Hello, Dweller. How you doing? How you doing? I continue my venture of not necessarily attempting to even figure out the first part of the name. Oh, that's so weird. I didn't realize. The resub messages don't pop up on Restream. Oh, that's janky. Also, I probably should take off my headphones. I actually put on my, like, earbuds and put on my headphones so I can actually listen. Yo, is that a fucking ad? Nah. I have the solution. Just, there we go. It'll be very weird positioning today. So we don't have to look at it. But yes, how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Yay! There was a slight intent. There was a slight intent of doing this last week, but, issue at hand was like, I'm sorry, I got confused. I forgot everything. I was like, oh, I was gonna, like, watch, like, the subbed version of the final episode before doing it. I still haven't watched the subbed episode, so I'm just not gonna take into account. Well, granted, even if I did have, like, the subbed version last episode to get the rest of the details, I don't think that's gonna change my positioning on anyone. Even though most of what happened in the last episode was a little bit bullshit. But yeah. Yes. Yeah, so I was gonna be doing just like a tier list, for characters on Go Rush, but I was like, I don't think I've done it for 7s. So I was like, you know, why not do it for Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s as well, like, while we're at it? I mean, it's not that many characters, there's only like... $144 characters? That's fine, right? Yeah, oh yeah, Go Rush ended last week. No, we're done. No more weekly episodes. Go Rush is over. That was the last episode. Yeah. Yeah, we even got a cute little artwork of them thanking us for the last episode. Let me get a image. I have the image saved on my computer. No worries, it doesn't necessarily spoil everything, but it is cute. It is cute. They posted this on their Twitter page. I'm sorry, I'm blocking the other Yuamu. I'm sorry. Sorry. No. But yeah. I'm missing several Otis versions. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't make this tier list, and I'll be honest, I didn't want to make it either. I noticed that they didn't have all the Otis, but I don't care. Actually, I don't even know if they have the most recent Otis on here. They have Doll. I think Otis probably counts under Otis, unless I'm just like insane, or I'm just going mad with something. I mean, we'll figure it out when we figure it out, because we'll just go on with this. All the Otis just become one, right? Technically, no. They're all separate Otises. They're all their own individual characters. Which is kind of, like, if they were the same person, then this whole same person thing kind of got a little bit debunked with the whole situation with the creator and, well, what is it, like the creator Otis and then Yugi Otis. And then, you know, there's like then the entirety of other Otises. By the way, yes, I would normally have ad blocker on. I do have it on. It's just very shit because this browser is kind of holding me hostage. And also, I've been having issues with the Wikipedia versus ad blockers. Bottom section, third from the left. Those are just the Otises, but unless I'm like, wait. Oh, Mystery Girl is there. Oh, yeah. Kuyama Muya. I'm sorry, I more than likely butchered that. Yeah, man, I wish they introduced her as like an actual character sooner. Granted, they kind of did before like the last arc, but you have to understand, it's like, they still introduced her way late and they did not really explain much of it. But yeah. Quite it with the creator thing. They left a few plot holes. But, you know, at least they answered a few more questions. But I kind of did want that whole reveal of, like, the original Otis was, like, just a random guy we never met before. I would have loved it if that was the case. That would have been hilarious. I was mind blown with the old Otis used cards based on alternate realities. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just insanity. Just unresolved stories. Isn't that what plot hole is? But yeah, so today, celebration of the end of Go Rush. Tier list, yeah. I'm gonna be ranking everyone on... not... like, a tiny percentage of the ranking could be about their deck, but the rest of it is gonna be mostly about their character and how much actually I love their design, their personality, their interactions, all of that. So it's like, that would make it a little bit more fair, because otherwise you're gonna be like Mimi, who, honestly, just Mimi? No. You know what? Just not even no, I'm sorry. Just, let's be, I'm gonna be kind to Mimi today. Because even though I don't like her, I do have to give it to her for trying. She has a pure losing streak, but she tried to be a good mother, and she worked her butt off for the company. She got fired multiple times. But but nah, Mimi, we'll just start off just saying I don't care. You would no, not even that. No, how do I add a tier? Just add a row below. Just Mimi. And then just like pity. That's where we'll put it. That's where we'll put Mimi for now. We'll put her in pity. I don't even want to put her in anything purple. Wait, is there like a hot pink or something that we can change that to? There, it kind of matches. Yeah. But yeah, I have to at least respect her level of resolve and her active participation in like the main story and everything, but I fucking hate her. She's so goddamn annoying. She does so much with so little, and she does not succeed too often, even though that she is doing her best as a mother and everything. If they didn't highlight the fact repeatedly, whoa, fuck. I was gonna say, them addressing her struggles of being a smaller individual was a bit closer to home on a hit, but I still don't like her. I don't like her personality, and that's gonna hit it too far for me. Kumiko has to be the best robot girl. That's where the no tier comes in. Oh, right! No. No, the no tier is just like, nah, fuck off, but Mimi, I still have to at least give a little bit of credit, which is why I'm gonna give her pity. Which is still very far down. It's below Mimi. A plot hole is when a character says it doesn't mean directly contradict the information. Ah. Yeah. Okay. But now let's actually get started. Eren, Kamame, and Rio. What are they? They're the Space Club, right? The guy that played Space Turtles. I don't have much to say about them. I think they had like a tiny bit of relevance later on when they had to send people into space, but it's like they didn't really do anything. So I would just like, let's put them in like Mimi as in kind of worthless, but I'll just put I don't care for Bruno as much. It's like I like the theme of his deck. I don't care for him at all as a character. These two were basically just other segments of the one guy that had like individual screen time for the bunch. So they'll go into a useless category, which is just Mimi. Ramen guy, MVP, plot development. A bunch of good advertisements. I believe that this was the guy, wasn't this the guy that had like the 5Ds logo on his ramen shop? Yo, ramen guy, interesting. We need to know more about him. In Duel utterly worthless. That too. I would have loved more space themes. Hey, if one of the two of them had aliens as a theme, that'd be pretty cool. But either way, they were mostly these three just existed for the purposes of the plot of saying is like the end goal of the plot, which was like everyone's making their own duel systems and it overloads, so they had to have a bunch of different clubs. They have to like push the fact that, oh yeah, there's a bunch of clubs in the school, a lot of people liking different things, but it's all for some reason related to dueling. Now, Ramen guy, good for the aesthetics. He was just great. He just existed. Zoe, the Zombie Stein player. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember much about him. He dueled like, who did he duel? Did he duel Luke? I don't remember much about him, no. I don't even... I was gonna say, was he with the hacking squad? But no, he wasn't. That was Geta, Nyoko Kuma, and... Atara. Atara, I think? Yeah, that was the hacking squad. No, this guy, I don't know what the fuck he did. It's like he had one duel, like he was just like a single episode antagonist. Yeah, we'll just put him in there. Just not really much of a relevance. Well, bare minimum, for him having a neat looking theme, I'll put him in I don't care. Not necessarily useless, just I don't care, but at least a little bit of interest. Gavin? Oh, he dual Gakuto. Oh, wow, that's probably why I don't remember the duel. I'm sorry. It's just like, oh god, they really just like screwed over Gakuto outside of like, I want to say outside of one duel, but even against Nail, it was like the bare minimum they could have given was a draw. By the way, I'm guessing here that the high resolution Bochi is the new one, the low resolution is the old one, which I want to put the most recent Bochi in I'm thinking like cool alright. I'll put him in alright for right now. It's like he's not the most amazing character, but for a side character, they did pretty decently on like making him into something interesting. Like the other Bochi, useless. Useless, right? He doesn't do anything in the story, he just exists as like a dog that themes. But the most recent one, they actually gave him character, they gave him relevance, they brought him back repeatedly for like the first 2 arcs or something, right? He had pretty interesting duels, his entire dynamic with Manya was really nice, sweet, and they actually gave him like purpose and reason for everything that he did. Light Bochi of 7s, Dark Bochi of Go Rush. Damn. Isn't his Hound deck a light deck? Unless I'm wrong. Honestly, it might be Earth. Oh wait, yeah, wasn't it Earth? Right. I'm just stupid. It's like someone choosing the wrong doppelganger while banging the wall. Is it wrong? Is it reversed? Who's who? I don't remember. Which Bochi is which? Just... Did I get the Bochis wrong? Is that it? Oh, you don't just casually realize, like, I don't know if Restream is picking up on... Wait, sorry, let me... settings... Where is Restream? Oh, no. Nope, it's working, I'm just stupid. The darker one is... Oh, the darker one is Go Rush, okay. Damn. So they just got like a really trashy shot of like Bochi and then just like threw it on there. I see how it is. Okay. Yoshio. He's honestly not that bad. Like in terms of like he's a little bit more interesting than Mimi. A little bit more interesting than Mimi. But at the same time, it's like I can't say that he had much relevance. His final duel against Mimi to grow up was very nice. This is Sleepy Cat. This is not the one I want to get. No. His final duel against Mimi was nice. It was cute seeing him like choosing to grow up, get away from his whole mom dependence. Even though he's a child, he should still very much be independent on his mother. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute. It's not too relevant to the main story, but for like a random side character, it did feel a little bit nice. So I would put him in interesting. Probably not above the Ramen Man, but even though the Ramen guy technically had like less screen time, significantly less screen time than anyone else that's gonna be on this list. That's a lie. Yep. Is it? I don't know. That would depend on the rest of the list, but yeah. Manya. Fuck Manya. I want to put her with Mimi. I really don't like her. But her interactions with Yuamu is what I'm trying to think about. I have to put her in interesting at bare minimum. Because she does help correlate or give reason for the growth of like Bochi and Yamu in like the earlier seasons of Go Rush. Even though that she's completely, well, not completely, partially useless, very annoying character, she still gave a reason for characters to grow. She still helped develop the plot, allow characters to become more wise in their words, choices, everything, and it's just... It really fucking pains me. It really pains me. You must understand. But I have to at least put her in interesting, simply because of that. God, I want to put her in Mimi so bad. But no, she has significant... Well, you know what? Above Yoshi, let's say. Like, Yoshi was good, but Manya had way more going for her. Way more interaction with other characters that lasted significantly longer. Bakuro. Bakuro is a weird one, because he's like a somewhat off-screen side character that's constantly trying to help the main cast, and he does a lot of research, input, and all that, even though that he had like very few duels, a handful of lines, but he did technically help out the main cast a bit. Same with Nasuzo. Even though I think it's like, what, at like one point when the loot came, was it him or was it London that just decided to like dip forever, but they were like investigating Luke's ship? So it's like, they weren't too prominent of main characters, even though, you know, ignore the whole 40 main character things to make up a deck and like Go Rush. Like, these two, I would say, are borderline interesting because of like what they're doing with the main cast. And I'll put that on both of them. Like, Bakuro is significantly better of a character than Nasuzo as well. Plus, he actually got like duels. He got like 2 duels at that, and I think he actually had fusion. Yeah, I think he got fusion when they went into like the printer facility and everyone kept making like custom cards. Yeah. But this is what a good, like a moderate side character is. It's like someone that's actually choosing to support and actually sticks around for a long time. Yeah. Early on, you know, just doing like school newspaper stuff, it's whatever, but later down the line they did become actually helpful. Masura. A friend, basically useless. I'm gonna put him up higher because he did help out. He did help out with everything, but still basically useless. Makuro, low useless. Well, he's just an announcer. He's not even that good of an announcer. I mean, it's cool the way that they imported him into the Go Rush universe. I didn't care. I don't think anyone cared. It's just useless. You followed me, Manya, around for a while. Nico. I'm gonna put him in I don't care, like an semi-interesting design. They were somewhat there, but now, you know, I gotta put them in useless. Just both of them very much useless. I think this is below Bochi as well. I can't say anything for them. It's like, once again, most clubs in 7s were gonna just be, here's the one face of the club that is gonna get some level of interaction and attention, and then here's just like the rest of the club members who don't realistically do much. They are just secondary shadows to everyone else. Not everyone else, just like to the main lead of the group. They're just like secondary shadows. They just go off the vibe of the first person. So it is going to be a lot of just like useless characters. Hunt. Hunt is a unique instance in this case. Okay, let me just do this first. Kaizen, you're fucking useless. Get out of here. I will actually put you higher up because I think the Dino Club did do a bit of excavation to help with the duelist situation. Hunt's an unusual case, being technically a secondary character to the Dinosaur Club when Khan was the initial one to be revealed, or to lead the club like others. Hunt actually came back to do quite a bit in the series. Him excavating out the ID cards from the mountain, from I don't remember the name of the mountain, just the giant mountain where all the dual discs were. He was spreading around quote-unquote maximum cards to everyone. He was selling them off, he was getting a bunch of money, but that did lead into Yuga getting another maximum monster to help boost up his deck after he lost his previous one. Did he lose Overroad at that point? I believe he did. So then he got his hands on Vulcan. So Hunt did actually help with the progression of the series, along with actually being kind of a cool character. He was very much Chad. He was a very cool character. I loved his new design, his personality, and how his deck represented that. Him being big and flashy. One of the few maximum characters in Sevens as well. It was a big glow up for a side character, don't get me wrong. Which kind of like left Khan a little bit in the dust, but yeah, Hunt, I will say I'll put him in cool. I'll put him in cool because it's still pretty sick. And also, I think he keeps that outfit for most of the series. But yeah, just his relevance in it was very good, especially combining the bond of all the other people, wasn't it? Yeah, what was it? The scene with Roa and Neil having a summoning chant with Yuga. Was it Providence, like New Road, Providence, and Rock or something? Summon out Great Vast Vulcan, woo! I know that doesn't have to do with Hunt, but he did lead that interaction. But also, I would probably say that might be my favorite duel of the arc as well. Yuga versus Hunt. Once again, a second meteor, the second rock card ever be printed was to use to wipe out a dinosaur deck again. Wow. Khan, I liked him. I liked his character, I liked his deck. He did seem interesting. It's a shame that he was pushed to the side a little bit when Hunt was introduced, but I will say he was borderline interesting. Like, this is less of... Once again, he was just a random club member. There was a lot of just stuff about him I liked. I even liked his personality. I wish he did come back more. I wish he had another duel, even if it was just one other. Yeah. Membe. I'm definitely saying that wrong. One of the... I don't remember their names, but he was one of the servants of the Lug. Very unique design, like a dinosaur monster, like a dinosaur astronaut playing a model dinosaur kit deck. Very cute, very fun. Sadly, not really making much leeway in comparison to like someone like Zion and Neanderstar. He kind of like fell off into oblivion after a point. Like, he was definitely around. They had to keep every character around for the sake of, once again, the Kawaii Duel deck. But he later just became kind of like, eh. I will put him lower on interesting. Like, design, deck, and everything, like, his personality was very kind of cute. He was more or less not useful after a certain point. Like, once his time was up, it was over, even though that he was technically still present for most of the series. That's the grand extent of what I'm going to give him. Mr. Goha. Is this, like, saying, like, the original Mr. Goha was? Or is this saying, like, the helmet? Give me a second to scroll through this to make sure I'm not, like, insane that we're not saying, like, the helmet. Is Doll the helmet? No, Doll isn't the helmet, I think. Okay, you know, this is gonna be a little bit unjust and biased. Mr. Goha, in terms of just like a figure, let's just say it's just like the concept of the guy, similar to like Otis is just a concept. The concept of Mr. Goha was very intimidating, was interesting of a villain, very mysterious. The fact that it turned out to not be anyone realistically, or just like it ended up being just like a helmet taking over Mimi, which once again, if you have an anime woman in a Yu-Gi-Oh series, they're gonna get mind controlled. Thank goodness it was not like, actually no, Roman technically had that moment when she went hangry, but I think that's somewhat different. Mr. Goha as a concept was cool, utterly useless though, and I think a lot of people ended up just like forgetting him. So I'll put it interesting, probably the lowest interesting character on this, but it's not gonna do much. I would have loved it if it was an actual guy, but that doesn't seem to be the case at all with Rush anime right now. It's like the big villains are just like concepts. They're not people, they're concepts. It seems like, oh my gosh, Otis, just a concept. Mr. Goha, just a concept. So I don't know who the Otis is. Just a guy. Guru and Goha Yuga. I am going to count them for separate instances. Guru as a character loves his design. Fantastic design. His design is a 10 out of 10. His presence wasn't too strong. It wasn't too strong. He was involved with the story ever since he was introduced. His interactions with everyone, maybe the viewers Otis. Damn. I probably am. Oh no, you probably are. Oh fuck, no! Guru, yeah, he just existed. He had a level of growth, a little bit more confidence as over time. His paleo costume, glorious. His personality was very cute. His interactions with Luke, a lot of fun. I loved seeing him get like caught up in shenanigans. His little rental duel, learning with Mimi, or playing a card game with Mimi is really cute. His interaction through dueling Otis, the Otis Blue Eyes AI, and him using Wiz instead of Seven Sword Magician to win. Very cool, very cool. But he didn't last long, as he did end up becoming Goha Yuga, quote-unquote becoming Goha Yuga. So we didn't really get to see any, like, end-line introduction of him, even though that, I believe Yuga at some point went Guru near the end. Yeah, I'll put him in cool. The fact that they didn't get to finish off his character is arguably what kind of pushes him to this. Even though I, like, really wanted to, like, love him more. Hey, you know, let me quickly do something. Transform... How do I crop? Edit transform... Woo! Yeah, there we go. There we go, much better. I don't have to look at that. Okay. Yeah, it was fun. I wish that they did give him a proper farewell, but sadly not. The end of 7's was a little bit rushed. There was also, a lot of it was delayed because of COVID, so that's probably a reason. Goha Yuga. Introduction to a very, very good main villain. Very short, very small. He started villainy at like a young age, his flashback, and it's like, he just went around like bullying adults. I thought that was very funny. That was very cute. The interaction with his duel against Yuga and Luke, where Neo does a grand reveal going like, wait a minute, think of all the cards he milled in his deck. That can't be possible, can it? It's only possible if he has a 60-card deck! Everyone's shocked, and I was like, that's so much fun. It's so fun. That was more of a Neil quote, but having a 60-card duelist as well in Go Rush, and that just being like, or sorry, 7s, and that being like the biggest shock was so funny. But yeah, his villainy was very cool. It's significantly higher than, well, his determination for villainous actions were significantly higher than Yuo, which made him a lot more intimidating of a villain. Though, his introduction of being like, just like a slime, when he molted, yes, molted, and turned into goo from his guru form into his Yuga, I was very confused. Because then at another point he had like vampire wings, like more of a demonic shadow floating about, and I'm just like, what are you? What are you? So it's like, I didn't really understand most of that, but now him being the villain caused a lot of tension between like the main characters, especially since they were best friends with Guru. This made fighting against him a lot more harder. That's put a lot more sympathy, trying to figure out related reasons. Him going around, knocking over everyone, like mind-breaking everyone with Monster Reborn, like, he was on a mission. He was just, like, determined. But then, up and coming, or later down the line, he just kind of fell off once he was caught by Otis, which, honestly, he was he was crucified by Otis, mind you. He was, shackled to a cross. I know. But then, just, like, after that point, it's like, all the stuff he did, it's just gone. It's just gone. Like, no one cared at that point, because it's like, oh, the siblings picked up Yuga from being abducted from Otis. And that's it. And then we just go straight into fighting Otis. Like, a very sad ending, but I will at least put him in alright. He was very cool. He just got introduced at a point where it's just, like, out of nowhere, and then he just suddenly dropped off in, like, the middle of his villainy. So I'll put him a little bit below Guru. Yeah. The nanny. You know what? No, just like, I don't care. The nanny AI for the Goha siblings. A little bit pointless, but she just existed. I just don't care. Goha Yujin. Cool deck, very fun character. I enjoyed that he later hung out with an Atama. I believe that's the guy's name. Oh, it's Maguro is apparently his name. And they just became Fisher buddies. So it's like, he kind of like went off from supporting his siblings and like doing anything. He just wanted to hang out. He was a cool dude. Umi, yeah! He even had a cool deck with Leviathan Dragon. Is it? God, I don't remember the rest of the name. I don't remember the rest of the name. It was just like a Leviathan Dragon. I'll definitely put him in like an alright. After a certain point, he definitely did not have enough screen time comparably to the rest. But I do like him. I like his personality, I like his energy, his character, his design is amazing. His habits are cool. He's very friendly. Like, he gets along well with everyone. The whole dude and bro interaction, very fun. We had to draw exactly Umigi Field, amazing. I know he didn't have the Destiny draw. It was so cool. You're basing him on one duel as well? Well, yeah, he only had one duel, and after that, he was just kind of like doing his own thing. He would constantly pop back up, and he was a lot of fun when interactions with like the main cast. But outside of that, it's like he didn't do much, but still cool. Still cool. It was a lot of fun. His interaction with his siblings as well. I have to give that to everyone. Goha Yuka. A little bit of a bias, but yeah, her being the one female of the group, of course she got a second duel. And I gotta say, that second duel was pretty good. Especially against like Roman and Roa. They obviously did try to make her into like a very cute character. They made her a little bit of a fangirl but also trying to be very prideful of, you know, her position and everything. And also she had a pretty cool deck, her baseball deck, which I know a lot of people were going to find that very fun. I think I already said her design, really nice. I don't know if I have any specific adjective to say for it. I just think that she does look cool. And it's not like her entire personality... Okay, I was gonna say her entire personality is not based around baseball. That's pretty much a fucking lie. He's added to Duel Links, yeah. I am gonna put her up in interesting. Well, I'll put her up in right, probably above Bochi. You know, screw that. No, Goha Yujin is above both of them still. Goha Yuo, a crying baby. Don't get me wrong, his introduction was amazing, his duels were fantastic, his design is really cool, the way that he presents himself is really sick. And how he ended up, like, betraying all of his siblings, which is why it's like, Uran didn't lose, but he still took his ID card. It is very based. Yuo is just a crying baby the rest of the time. He just gets kind of annoying. But outside of that, he has been a very solid character, a very good introduction of fusion, a very good enemy for Yuga and the gang to fight. Sorry, let me just fix that a tiny bit. A very good enemy for Yuga and the gang to fight. It was very neat. Very interesting. It was a good light intro into like the Goha siblings, like him being like the main mastermind behind everything. But later it just going over to Goha Yuga, which kind of like dethroned him. I did also very much like his desire of actually having people to speak with, because he had no friends. He was a fucking loser. He was in solitude. He was hanging out with puppets the entire time. But it was still very cute. I would definitely put him up in interesting. I'm gonna keep him below Yujin. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. There's still a lot left, but I don't think this should take much time. Yeah. Oh man. We're still in the Goha siblings. Okay, Goha Uran. He didn't do much. He didn't do much. His design and everything's neat, but his duel was very lackluster. His presence was there, but not active. He also kind of got screwed over a little bit with the whole thing of Yuo betraying him. And he's just like a very bland personality. Yeah, it's just like him being a like brilliant swordsman, cool. But all he does, his main sense of mind is I need to parry and counterattack my opponent, so I'm gonna set one pass. Didn't really give him much of a character to like grow off of or realistically do anything. I know some people are going to say is like, oh, they like Uran, they think the card's designs are cool. He was definitely active. He was active when his siblings were talking about like Yuo or Yuga, right? So he was kind of like mandatory, he would be there, but it's just like, he didn't have as strong of a presence as anyone else. I'll put him in like more or less I don't care, I'm sorry. You know, if he just had more personality, like, let's be honest, the fucking dinosaur from the Luke's gang had more personality and was just like far more interesting in his very short existence comparatively to like Uran's entire existence in the later season of Sevens. Now, if you want actual presence, go hog Euro. It was a really wild introduction, I'm gonna be honest. For him being the first person, or the first Goha to appear, he made like a huge entrance, right? Like peak 5Ds reference, hell yeah. And also where we learned that Neo has the power to summon a stadium wherever he wants. He can summon a dual stadium wherever. I found that very funny. That has nothing to do with Euro. He has a lot of energy. He was very cool. He had a very neat deck concept. Didn't fly off. It was a very toxic rogue deck. Very toxic rogue deck. But this is much higher energy. Just like the rest of the siblings, unlike Uran, much higher energy, very cool. Not my realistic cup of tea, especially with his outfit. It was like a sweatsuit sort of ordeal, or I guess a racing suit, right? Tire City, just basically a sandbox game for me. Yeah, basically is. But Euro's very much more interesting. He did exist, but I feel like he did get outshined by most of his other siblings, especially Eugen and Yuka. Came in the city. Yeah. Oh yeah, him just constantly like in a swivel chair, ready to turn around at a moment's notice. But yeah, I feel like that's very appropriate for Euro in my eyes. That he was just interesting. He was just an interesting character, probably on the higher end, definitely. Goha Yuna. Fuck. Okay. We're finally having a heavy hitter. Like, this is what you would consider a lot of what I was saying. She has multiple designs. She had a lot of huge interactions in the story. She affected many people, many lives. She's changed a lot of stuff herself. Her personal growth, everything about her is just like insane. Now, she was introduced a little bit later in Go Rush. I think season 2? Don't quote me on that. Yuna is cringe, but in a good way. She had real motivations and is probably dead now. Weirdly, no. Not dead. I think a few people are dead, but I'm not entirely sure on it because Go Rush did leave on a cliffhanger, but I think people might be dead. Yuna, though, yeah, she's very cringy. She is very cringy, but by God, does she grow into, like, a phenomenal villain. Everything about her was being obsessed with someone. Yeah, but it's like, the way that she would go about her obsession just became significantly more unhealthy over time. And her drive and planning just became so horrific. Oh my gosh. So when she was first introduced, I believe in some point in season 2, when the Rovian gang was around, she was just a Rovian simp. She didn't do much herself. She pretty much just like fawned over Rovian the entire time, and she was doing her stuff to help out. She was part of the Gilha company, Gilha Enterprise, whatever it was called. And I'll be honest, I didn't necessarily care for her at that point. She had a very simple design. It was very okay. It was a very cute design, cutie design with like spot dresses and everything. It's not much about her that was too phenomenal, right? Oh, it was episode 20. God damn. Wow, that was very early. Look at Easy S here. Questionable. Welcome in, Chu and Sama. How you doing? How you doing? We'll get to Luke once we actually find Luke. I have no idea where the hell Luke is in this tier list. He's somewhere. But we're just going at them in... Oh wait, Luke's right here. Hey. We'll get to Luke in a bit. But yes, later down the line, Yuna kind of had to go through a lot of emotional things, and eventually having her big quote-unquote breakup or separation from Rovian to kind of do her own thing. Which I believe also around that time is when she met Yuga, which Yuna starts to like change for, I don't want to say better or not, but she just had so much fun with like Yuga, and she just changed significantly. Once Yuga left, she just snaps. Her supporting the villainous organization of the Dark Men, buying out everything, and later just like, she makes a fucking particle accelerator, which will make a anime boy and an anime cat girl collide in order to start up a fucking time machine. She buys out Asana's entire family's company, or tries to buy it out. She buys out all of Goha, And she's just like taking over everything because she wants an excuse to see Yuga again. And constructing the time machine, supporting Otis is like the one way she would see to do that. And her entire interaction between that and like everything after, when they finally get into the time machine, everyone goes back in time. The change in Yuna is just like so phenomenal. And I think it's like, that is a really big change, a really big thing, especially for like a female character and any Yu-Gi-Oh media. We don't get this too often. And one of the few, like before this, it was, God, it's like, I want to say like the best characters, female characters were definitely from like sevens in terms of females. Like hell, even Mimi got more like plot relevance, screen time than most other lead female Yu-Gi-Oh duelists. They didn't know it was a cat girl at that point. She's only ever been a cat. But yeah, but it's more funny if I say they try to combine an anime boy and an anime cat girl. It's kind of funnier. But I guess saying like combining an anime boy with a house cat might also be somewhat funny. She's Bulma if she was a psycho. You know, it's horrible. I'll never forget how she prioritized confessing to Yugo over saving the Valkyrie. It was very petty, but it's just like, from the viewpoint of a villain, she has her intentions are good in her eyes. She wants us to be with someone, which is like, it's a common thing to like view for a villain. But her methods of it were rather self-centered and cruel, which is like, that's understandable. Most people will go very far out of their way to achieve what they want, even if they have to sacrifice others. And they have to make sacrifices themselves. In her terms, the first sacrifice was financial balance and profits, all of that. It doesn't fucking matter. She bought out everything. She still has more money to spend. She abducted people. It's like, this is actually an interesting villain, I will say. Though I will say, not top 5 greatness. I'm gonna like put it here. I'm gonna put her in the greatness. I know a lot of people are gonna say otherwise. I think she was fantastic. She was great. This was a huge boost for any female characters. Even though if she was a sociopath, she still almost achieved her goal. She successfully got the time machine working, but she went to the past by mistake. If she didn't do that, maybe I would have put her higher. If she succeeded in her goal, I would have felt better and probably put her in like top 5. Since she failed, I'll put her just in greatness for now, but pre-Rush era writers hated when they were writing to appeal specifically teenage boys. Yeah. Yuna really doesn't know how to do anything less than 200%. Made Manabu look like a fool despite Yuna being 100% wrong. Could have just talked to Yugo while he was captured. That's a fair point. That is a very fair point. I like the philosophical argument of it's worth to have absolute freedom at the risk of destroying the entire world. The Valkyrians appear. Contradict the world Yuga comes from. She got forgiven too easily. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh anime. It's like, if you're not going to be wiped off the face of the earth, you're going to be forgiven. If you're not going to be like erased from existence, you're forgiven. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh anime. But yeah. I still want to put her in greatness, even though there's like the very final arc kind of like doled it down a bit. I still think that she was pretty great. She was pretty good. I mean, let's be honest. Let's compare it to like most one-off villains in Go Rush and like Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's and Go Rush. She's above all of them. Very great. And plus, she progressed so many characters' lives. Yeah. See, this is the type of character that's going to make the stream take longer, not anyone else. Oh my gosh, I need so much water. Okay. Kiron. Wait, which butler is this? Is this the one for Apoko, or is this the one for Luke and Tiger? Which butler is this? Let me quickly open up Let me quickly open up like the 7s and Go Rush portal. Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 Bevan's portal. But yeah, how you doing, Zedix? How you doing? How you doing? Goddamn. Okay, I'm scrolling. Give me a second. Where is he categorized? Surely it's not that far down. Okay, I found one of them. I found one of them. Elysian Callister. Akinori. Okay, this is the one from 7th. Okay. I'll tell you now. I'm gonna put him in, I don't care. Put him in item. It's cool that he like was there for like raising. He was mostly there for like talking about like the past of the relation of like Tiger and Luke. And I'm just like I didn't feel it. I didn't feel anything. It's usually tier 3 until season 3. He's dead and supported youth. Oh yeah, I'll definitely get into Zuijo. Like, let me tell you, I have a lot to fucking say about Zuijo later down the line when we get to him. But yeah, Zuijo character was pretty good. You know, no, fuck it. We'll do Zuijo now. We'll do Zuijo up here. Let's do this. Listen, we're gonna have a lot of like bullshit side characters, okay? Let's get some of the more important characters up here. Zuijo. Very fantastic villain, Season 1. Very amazing. Season 2 rolls by. He does fuck all. Season 3 comes by. He's amazing again. Well, dare I say Season 3. It's very much up and down. His motives of wanting to support the Valkyrians. Like, he just kept talking about, like... No, sorry, that was a different situation. Season 1 come by, he's trying to get back Udius. A war veteran, fellow of Udius. Also, the first canonically gay character and main villain. Quote unquote, he was a main villain until he became, like... Does he qualify as a main character? I think he does. I think he qualifies as a main character. Yeah. His story in almost all the seasons, his connections with the other characters, his design, his deck is okay. I love it all. That was a joke? No, it was a love confession. No. End of season 1, he confessed. Or, Udius confessed. Zuijo's credibility died when he lost him. Never lost his duel in season 2. Is orientation not be a factor? It's not going to be a factor, no. I'm just stating that as a note because, listen, if I'm going to force people to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, the easiest way to say, here, watch this anime, the main character has a boyfriend. That's the way you get people, that's the way you get non-Yu-Gi-Oh! Enjoyers to view this type of stuff, okay? Just say, here's a main character, they're gay. That's going to get significantly more people to join in, other than trying to explain the plot of Go Rush. You want me to explain the plot of Go Rush? I can't. I can give all the details of characters. I can't do the whole plot. But nah, it's just like, it's much easier to get people to look more into him. But yeah. Zuijo, really good character. Very fun. Near the end of the final season, it was questionable. Okay, wait, let me specify. Near the end with the Darkmen, it was a little bit questionable. I did like the idea of him always knowing of who Dark Meister was, and always trying to support her in her goal, especially with the reviving of the Valkyrians. But Zuijo kind of existed for a while, especially as his meat. What was it? A meat bun shop or something? Not curry buns. He just kind of existed for a while, especially with the whole thing with Kwai-Dul. He just existed. Him dying though, his duel before his quote-unquote death against Udius, so heart-wrenching. And the fact that he decided that he accepted it, I cried. I wanted to cry so fucking bad. He did so well. It really did hurt me when they just started making him float around doing whatever. But I'm glad that they did end up bringing him back, especially for like the final season. Season 3, Zuijo was horrible for Zuijo. Yeah. Brought him back to sell his cards. Oh, 100%, yeah. I got people to explain the plot of Go Rush by pointing out it explores deep philosophical concept, morality, casualty, and metaphysics. Yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, there was a lot to like talk about in Go Rush, and Zuijo definitely is a big part of it. Especially when he was interacting with Udius, and all the times that Udius did end up trying to trust Zuijo, even though Zuijo would end up being against everyone. But I say they wrote him pretty well, even if he did lose some fights that didn't really seem like anyone deserved to win for. I disagree, it was horrible. I think he had actual lore. Individual episodes didn't make him look good, but he had a really strong story arc. He did have a strong story arc, yeah. But yeah, just saying before is like his interaction is very good, and that he actually has a goal for for the arcs. Like he actually has individual goals. He has a new goal almost every season, and he kind of succeeds. Yeah. Do you like Go Rush as a whole? Season 3 is a bit up in the air for me. The whole Kwaido arc. Some parts of it, I did like the Kwaido arc, but I was like a bit iffy. Actually, it wasn't that bad, actually. It was actually pretty good. I would say in terms of like Season 1, I didn't care for Season 1 until like near the end of it. Like once we got more Zuijo and Udius time, like when it was closer to the end. The start of Go Rush was definitely just like a tutorial phase I didn't care for. Like, I still watched all of it. I didn't necessarily care for it. I loved the fact that they exaggerated it on the I-beams, but it was like, eh. But the rest of it was pretty good. I liked the rest of it. The bombshell, though, about like the secret abilities of Uamu and Yuhi at the end was complete bullshit, but yeah. He found us something. Yeah, he found it. VR entertainment factor, repeat. Oh, okay, season 2 was Dark Might. Oh my gosh. Listen, I've been on this journey for like, what, a few years now? I lose track of everything. Okay, then season 2 was the whole Kwaido arc, yeah. Kwaido arc is when they forced in multiple side characters. I like what they did with it in terms of needing 40 souls or something to fill up a dual deck, right? Which was a very cool concept. I didn't like the fact that they just ended up throwing in characters for the sake of throwing them in, just to make deck space. Do we have the balanced rock guy? Yeah, we do. Ishada does fuck all. Ishada is like, he's here. He does nothing. He's just to fill deck space. Hell, even the butler was in the deck. I don't know if I can see the butler. We'll find him eventually, but yeah. But yeah, Zuijo, I'll put him up in greatness. I'll put him above Yuna. I'm not going to put him in my top 5. I have my top 5 relatively close to my heart, and I'm just like, I know who I want up there, and you guys will figure it out later. Yuki was the biggest waste of potential. He got like season 2, and he looked really the best way in the end in season 3. Yuhi was definitely a lot of wasted potential. Like, there was a lot of Yuhi that was like, he could have been great, but it's just like everyone else just kept outshining him, and he just didn't have his time. Okay, Union Monsters? I would have loved that. I thought that would have been cool. Fuck. Okay. Here we go. The 3 Lukes. Inner Luke. Single episode. Actually, not even a single episode. Inner Luke does come around sometimes, and does have the plot twist of like, all these Lukes are technically one character. So that's how he has like multiple Dragias, which I was like a little bit bullshit. But I'm just gonna put like inner Luke as in like, I don't care. I don't give a shit. He was plot relevant, but I don't care. Shilling, did Hydra Drive ever win episode? How many times did he actually duel with Hydra Drive is the question. God, I don't feel like he dueled that much with it. Because that's tier. So I'm gonna say for my personal top 5, I am gonna be putting like Luke higher end. You know what? No, just for like, this is my own personal opinion. I'll put him in like the lower greatness. I fucking hated Luke early on. I really did. I hated his personality. But over time, it did somewhat become better. Him becoming like realizing the actual risk and becoming more motivated. Him caring more for his friends, everything. Yeah. He just became more tolerable, let me say. He became more tolerable, and he was pretty good. I understand the idea is like, they made him to be an actually undefeatable character. Like, you know how it's like you have characters like, what was it, like Zane from GX was like, oh, he's the strongest student in the school. He's never been defeated. And then there's like every single episode that he's on, if he's against like, even against like random minor villains, he's like, he gets defeated. Like, he was made to be defeated. Luke stands by the concept of like the most powerful duelist in the series. And that kind of pissed me off a little bit. But he did remain technically undefeated till the end of the series. He never lost technically, because the duel never finished. It would never finished, which I kind of hated, even though he was going to lose that. His interaction with everyone, giving Yuga a reason of motivation, just like, not even reason of motivation. Luke supported the idea of Yuga, just like, he wants to play for fun. He understood that. He enjoyed his time with Yuga. They played, and he wasn't, it's like, he didn't get all that serious, but he would always just like mess around with them. Like, he was a good friend. He did his job of being like the ultimate individual to stand in Yuga's way into attempting to sacrifice himself into fighting Otis, sending all of his friends away and then pushing Otis out of the Goha servers. Like, he was the biggest wall, the biggest hurdle for Yuga to come up to defeat this undefeatable character. And I gotta say, it's like, I understood at that point that that was the whole reason for them making him how he was. And I will say, he definitely turned out to be a significantly amazing character than I would have ever imagined. It was really good. Also, welcome into my battle. How you doing? How you doing? Always fun to watch. The Strike Dragons are just really cool. They were. The Strike Dragons were great. I hate that they changed the name in the TCG. Luke was hilarious, being an idiot, comic relief, but being unstoppable was an amazing contrast. Dude was like Goku if he was here, an idiot, but a genius, battle IQ. So yeah, like Goku. And Yuga had to cheat again? No. Technically, I don't think Yuga cheated. Finally beat Luke, sir. Sure, yeah. You finally learned from Duel Links, yeah, your opponent had to summon Dragons before you summoned Ace Monster to win. Yeah, basically. But I'm happy that they finally did it. They finally... I know I said this repeatedly. It's the whole undefeated champion. I'm very happy about that. The Lukeman. The additional part of... The Lukeman's a little bit hard to grade. I guess as a concept is what we'll rank him as, because technically Luke already confirmed that he is still the Lukeman. He is still Inner Luke. The Lukeman kind of like brought in like a lot of wacky scenarios. The birth of the Lukeman being from... Oh, what was it? Was it Tiger's shop to the printer, or was it Luke's demonic fist? I know I forgot to mention Luke's demonic powers in his right hand, but one of the two punched a printer and that made the Lukeman, which is like a little bit funny and bullshit at the same time. Oh yeah, we got the new Seven's Knight. Yeah, it's really sick. It looks sick. It's not overly powerful, but it is pretty cool. It is a really neat card. You know what? Hey, let me actually pull that up. Let me pull up that image because it does look cool. Just say technically we're talking about like Yuga versus Luke, so it's somewhat relevant. I just closed the image. I just closed the image tab. Where, oh, where are you? No, seriously, where are you? Oh, there you are. It does look sick. I like the artwork. This mean like the remake of like the previous card. Really nice. Yeah, just like a weaker version of... Listen, they already had it up to here with like balancing Seven's Vias in competitive, right? They're not going to risk that again. But yeah, I love this design. I'm all for this. We finally got a Seven Zero Magician cosplay. Lovely. Yeah, Lukeman was definitely a comical character. I don't think he was... He was there for many reasons. He was there for the Goha sibling arc. He was mostly just like a plot-relevant character. And sort of comic relief and like bringing on that entire thing of like everyone showing up in cosplay. We got like the Yuga Man, we got... What was it? It was like Princess Asuna? Princess Asuna. I don't remember if Tiger was a part of that. I don't remember what most people were, other than just like Princess Asuna was definitely like the fan favorite, I could tell. Eugen, Yuga, let's go. I'll put him in cool category. Like he was definitely a very cool and different addition. Once again, one of the many characters which are not an actual character but a concept, which is still technically a little bit bullshit. We're gonna have a lot. How many concepts do we already have up here? We have the concept of Goha. We got the concept of the Lukeman. Concept of where is he? Oh, where's Otis? The concept of Otis and all that. We have a lot of non-real characters. Give them that. Yeah, a menace. That's a good way to put it. It's a damn fine way to put it. Taiga, I'm so glad that whoever did this list used her time skip appearance with a short hair. I loved her short hair. And then just like Asana with her like long hair, long skirt was... I liked it. I ship it. Tiger was a very interesting character. This was one of the one of the main hurdles for Luke in terms of like developing his character, like trying to quote unquote like grow up or, you know, become more of a duelist. He spent like the entire time talking about how it was like he never could defeat Taiga. It's like this was like an impossible feat, which was why I was a little bit upset when like Luke absolutely bodied her, which I don't feel like was necessary, but once again, he had to be undefeatable. Other than that, her entire backstory with Asana is definitely where I'm gonna be like basing it on, along with her design, her deck and everything, all that's cool, but her as like a character, even off to the side at times, when she was appearing, she definitely made an appearance. Like she was a very cool character. I loved her interactions. I loved her personality. Her personality was very aggressive, but it was very fun. Once again, Asana, Taiga. I am going to put that up in cool. I will put that above the Lukeman. It is a strong bias. It is a very strong bias. Especially against the Lukeman, but I feel like that's fair. Poco. I have my reasons. Poco, a character that wasn't there until later, I believe, in Season 2. I guess that she's one of those, she's rough deep down, but she truly cares, but I don't know, sometimes she's a bit much. That's fair, that's fair, yeah. That's not always going to be, like, something for, like, everyone. Like, a tough exterior, but is basically a kitten when you, like, compliment them or something, yeah. Yeah, Poco, the box. Other than her design of being a box, she is the definition of character development. Definition. Ignoring the fact that she cheated, and like her deck actually changing over time as well, her like developing stronger. It's a story of like one of the alternate world of Luke. Like she's a combination of Luke and Taiga. One of the biggest glow ups? Hell yeah. She goes from a what's the word? Introvert hiding in her little box, hiding from the world, in a literal sense, into like the most confident person ever. A person that's like went complete feral in the final season, gathering an entire army of wild animals and attacking civilians. It's like, that is very far south. Like, very far south. It goes east, west, north. Like, it goes fucking everywhere. But her slowly building confidence over time, her actually becoming less of, like, a joke side character. She is what Swirly could have been. She is basically what Swirly could have been, but done significantly better. She had a solid start. She had a very decent backstory. Her interaction with characters were great. The duel in where she finally broke out of her emotional shell, which was a cardboard box, into just like the strong individual, eventually becoming Captain Epoko. And then just like her always like taking charge, being on the front lines, trying to help everyone, being just this beast of a character, and just doing more things on her own. I think it was brilliant. Like, I would definitely put her up there rivaling Rovia. God, part of me wants to say she might even be a better female character than Rovian herself, but it's up there. But she was just great. Rovian, Pokemon number 1. This is okay. This is my personal top 5 of like my favorite characters. I'm just saying overall, these are my favorite. She's one of my more favorite characters. I have other people that I would rate up there. Like, it's all a matter of opinion, don't get me wrong. But I just think in terms of story, design, personality, everything about her, just like, it was fantastic. She was introduced in season 2, don't get me wrong, but she just like made herself present the entire time of the story. And that's my own personal opinion. I know other people are going to say otherwise, but I do think that she's great. There are going to be like 4 other people up here. And I already said I already decided who I'm going to have up there. As far as I know, I think I only have like 3 others. I'll figure it out later, but no, hands down, I do think that she's phenomenal. Especially when we lost like most of our main cast and we were stuck with like, what was it? The dream team of, what was it? UDS, Yuga, Poco, and fuck, who was the last person that was with them? I don't think it was Manabu. Manabu came by a little bit later. Was it? Fuck, it's been a while. I don't remember that. Who was on that ship with them? I just know at some point they started eating dirt. Oh yeah, by the way, she also had like that one in the Quaidual alternate timeline thing. It was like she had a little cardboard dress. That was cute. That's not relevant, but I thought that was cute. Alfred! Supporting character. I don't care, so I'll put him with the other butler, but, you know, he supported Epoko. I do respect that. The Lug! God, that is such a particular character. I'll put the Lug... Actually, fuck it. No, the Lug is above... I'll put it above Guru and everyone else. The Lug was an interesting villain. I don't even want to call him a villain. He just wanted to be happy. Like, the guy came in and was like, hey, I like writing manga. I want to make people happy. He didn't intend to be a villain. Everyone just marked him off as a villain. Everyone just like was like, nah, he's the villain. He's icing worlds, and he's like, oh, you feel bad for your duel, for losing the duel? How about I make you happy? Like, he definitely flew off the radar afterwards, but the one season that he was like extremely relevant being present, it was very good. It was very good. Very heavily misunderstood. And his combination with Poco later down the line is also really nice with the whole gear thing. His deck was phenomenal. His design was a little bit further to the side than I would prefer, but his personality definitely does make up for it. Him being like very silent, his interactions with Yuga as well, that was very cute. Kind of became a joke. Yeah, that's a little bit where I flew off. They were right in not making the Lug into a main cast member, because they had a lot of characters to pick from. I definitely do feel like the Lug was better off as a one-time villain. The fact that they kept him in, but didn't really make him do much is what pushes me away a little bit. But I do enjoy it. I did enjoy it when he was seen as the big bad of the time. Yeah, the fact that he was very much oblivious to what he was doing is what was the appeal. It's like, this was like the reverse of Yuna, right? Yuna is going to go at willing to sacrifice anything and anyone in order to obtain her happiness, even if it means everyone else suffers. But the Lug is thinking he doesn't want anyone to suffer, he wants to make everyone happy, but he's unknowingly just like glassing planets and like freezing people in time permanently, and he doesn't realize that. Well, I'm sure he has to realize that, but he didn't realize his manga was that bad. He was more of a small, oblivious child with like a very big heart, just like never once was anyone telling him what was bad, but he was just like unknowingly doing bad things. The amount of people he almost killed. But yeah, that's a very cute character trait. And also one of the more scary type of tropes is like, what do you fear more? Like a person with reason who has a lot of power, or just basically a child that is effectively God? Would you trust a child with like the ability to like slaughter billions at a time without even thinking? No. It's like, they have good intentions, but end up doing bad things. Arya! He had 2 duels and he was part of like Neo's groupie squad, or he didn't do much. I loved his duels. I will put him in interesting because I do love his duels. Yeah, fuck it, put it above like Manya. Let's put it above Manya. I know he's not plot relevant. Just personally speaking, I did like his design. I liked how he was dueling. He spent both duels cheating, but it was a very fun interaction, and he was somewhat present. He was doing a lot of stuff in the background for Neo, up until, you know, everyone became irrelevant, but I just thought he was a very cute character. I thought he was a lot of fun. The Weevil and Bandy. I want to lean on the more of the side of Weevil. Bandit Keith? I want to say at least Bandit Keith gets things done. But for cheating characters, listen, it's not often that you get to see like people do that thing. Look me in the eye and tell me that Arya Draw was not like Angel Draw wasn't like the most majestic thing ever. It made Blue Angel's like abilities like worthless. I don't know. But also I like the fact that he also played like a deck out deck, which is also pretty much a rarity. Ignore the fact that we had someone lose to deck out when that wasn't even their like deck's intent. Respect for Neko for being a call away from me. Oh my god, yeah. You know what, screw it. Let's get some of the other members of Providence up in here. Scoreling? I love his design. I love his personality. He doesn't have much relevance. Well, he has a little bit of relevance. I'll put him in, like, interesting, because I do have interest for him. Because he was part of, like, the, once again, part of Providence. He was supporting Neil in the background, you know, doing his own thing. Very funny duel. I loved his duel against Luke. That was a lot of fun. Next top 5? Oh, I will get to my next top 5, trust me. I wanted more scored. I'm very sad about that. I'm happy that his deck did come back in terms of like Star Cats, but man, I kind of wish we got more of him. I also love the reference that he has of like the, what was it, the German scientist that tested on cats. Yeah, Cats Returning, go Rush with Neanderstar, or while working under the lube, the Neanderstar. He should be in the top 5. You know what? Let's go. You know what? No, yeah, sure. Let's do something. Row above. Let's go. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Just peak design, sure. I will say purely from a design standpoint, I will say he is peak. You know what? Let's also, I'm gonna also put Mr. Goha up there, because I'm like, if we're having this category, we're fucking doing this right. Peak design, that's where I'll put them. God, I don't feel comfortable putting that above greatness, I'm gonna be honest. Like, let's put that, let's knock that down a bit, but... He's the exposition character? Fuck, that is a fair point. That is a very fair point. That's on the internet. Quietel. Oh, Quietel you want to talk about. Oh my god, Quietel fucking did so much in the series. Like, I'll be honest, for a guy that only dueled once at like one of the first few episodes of the series to introduce setting monsters face down defense position for a tutorial duel, he had so much relevance in the story. I don't even know, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what happened with like fusing with like Yuamu. We're gonna ignore that. He was in everything. He was there in all the times, looking into everything, doing all the research. He was developing cards, technology. He did everything for everyone, and he was like supporting every single character. Like, they did it for his personality was great. I loved his human and alien form. The poor translation of like I'm wet, it was very, very much hitting hard, but I'm gonna keep that separate as well. Like, this is a solid side character in my eyes. Also, I don't even know if I want to call him a side character. Like, that's how much relevance he had in the story. You know what, just for the sake of it, we'll put him in greatness. I know his, like, story is not as strong as these three. Oh, God, do I put him in greatness or do I put him in cool? It's the question. You know what? No. I'll put him as the peak of cool, because his relevance was insane, but I don't want to put him in the same section as, like, these characters. He was in the Galaxy Cup too. Oh yeah, that's right. He got stomped by evil Asaka. Ended his duel in Korea. Oh, okay. But yeah, Quietel, I don't want to put him in the same ranking as greatness, because greatness is like individuals having like story centered and then being like leading points in the story. I want to put him up there, but honestly, he wasn't the focus of much, but he did everything. Like, I definitely say he carried a lot of people. Yeah, very good character. Roa. Roa and Luke were best 7's character. I will admit, I love Roa. I definitely loved his interactions with Yuga and Roman. I feel like the interactions between with Neo was a little bit forced. His development with his band members, really good. Fantastic. I loved it. But, you know, it's like, Geto was the primary individual to, like, be affected by it the most, while the other guy, Ushiro, just kind of, like, tagged along and feeling, like, a little bit betrayed, especially after he tribute summoned out Doom Metal. So, you know, I kind of wish Ushiro did have a little bit more, but Roa was definitely very good character. Even though that I would say he probably got the least out of the main 7 characters of 7s, they still did pretty well. They did pretty well on his character. Hello, Kiasto. Welcome in, welcome in. Put in the top 5? Questionable. Fuck. I'm gonna be honest, if I didn't already have my top 5 in line, I probably would. Like, the lead characters for 7s were all pretty good. Except for, you know, Gakuto is, like, a little bit up there, but, yeah. Rush era characters. We'll leave that up for debate. What I liked about Roa is that his duels never relied on fusion. Yeah, that was like, Roa was one of the very unique characters of, like, he chose, I don't know if he either chose or it's just like, he just never happened upon them. He chose to never rely on special mechanics like maximum or fusion summoning. He decided to do things his own way, and he actually succeeded. And he even beat a Floodgate deck, which I'm gonna be honest, doesn't exist much in Rush, but good for him. Good for him for beating the Floodgate deck, which happened to be Mimi. You know what? Fuck it. Let's put him in greatness. He did pretty damn well. Oh my god, the final duel between like Roa and Roman as well. Fucking loved it. His duel against Geta, fantastic. His interaction of redemption, of finally realizing that he's not going to abandon his band members, and he summons out all the cards, all of his band members' cards without sacrificing them. Like, end game Roa, pretty good. He did say he doesn't need maximum fusion to win a duel. That's right, yeah. I drank from the wrong bottle. I drank the vitamin water. Second strongest 7's duelist? Honestly, you know what? That might be close to saying... That might be close to true. But I will say... But I'm gonna put him at, like, lower the part of the greatness, because, like, let's be honest, once his stuff finished, it kind of, like, rolled away. And they went more focused on Yuga, Luke, Roman, and Gakuto. Especially, you know, it's like everyone else kind of just like went off and doing their own thing, trying to support everyone. But yeah. But now I would put him at the greatness. Listen, top 5 is my top 5, okay? Greatness, let's say that's the peak for everyone else. London! Fuck is London, honestly. Like, I feel like they tried to make a character out of London, but it's just like, after a point, it's just like, what is he realistically doing? Like, he went up to, like, investigate the Luke ship, and it's just like, after that point, it's just like, okay. Like, he was present. London was present. His duel was interesting. I don't feel like he did much, did he? Am I just dumb? Did I just, like, forget, like, an entire segment of, like, London actually doing anything relevant? Like, I think he had a little bit of something with, like, Manya for a bit, but he wasn't, like, one of the main plot points for her. Yeah, he just kind of existed. Like, his design, everything was interesting. It was a very big letdown, especially after we just went from Roa to London. I think that's, like, the same voice actor. Is Yuga rematch, and, like... Okay, yeah, fair. Yeah, London just kind of existed. I wouldn't put him in useless. I don't want to put him in useless, but I'll put him in, like, I don't care, but have him... I'm gonna be honest, in terms of, like, side characters that don't matter, I think, like, the Inner Luke is probably, like, peak of that, because it's, like, Inner Luke technically had a reason to exist, but he didn't need to exist. Why? Because the Luke men exist, which makes more sense of like that being Luke's other self than saying inner Luke was something, but yeah. Roman. Man, if it wasn't the fact that Mpoko existed, I would have put her as my top female character. Roman was great! Roman was a fantastic female lead, okay? She was phenomenal. She had progression. Once again, being a female in a Yu-Gi-Oh series, she had a ton of designs. She actually succeeded and finished her story. She started off the series not playing the game. She borrowed Yuga's deck. She had motivation. She had a primary goal, which was not Yu-Gi-Oh, but to develop as a like performer, being a guitarist. She had a role model who she looked up to and eventually defeated, surpassing it. She had a rematch duel with Yuga, once again, destroying him. She overcame her desire, or not her desire, her dependence on the hangry mode and her interactions with everyone, all the other duelists. I don't know what they were thinking later down the line, trying to develop something between her and Luke, which is like, we're going to keep that separate for now. I think that they did a fantastic job of introducing her character. Her not trying to be a duelist, but is always trying to get, eventually deciding to get stronger for herself and her friends, try to achieve her goals and protect everyone else. Like, this was the start of like actually making good female characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I know some people are gonna go like, oh, well, no, we have Akiza or something from 5Ds. Like, she was fine, but they made her way too like dependent on Yusei after a while, right? But no, it's like Roman is like like I would say probably it is heavily biased at this point. It's like she is an amazing lead. She did phenomenal, right? And actually going from start to finish, starting off very just like casual, it's like I'm existing, I want to be a performer, and then just like Roman actually achieving everything that she wanted near the end. And everything in between. Her grow up from actually defeating Roa, from battling Yuga. She did stop, technically, Gakto at one point, but I don't think that was much relevance. Replacing in the primary tournament, which in the Rush tournament, which was against Roa, I believe at the time. It was very great. Phenomenal. I'm very happy for her that she actually choosing her own path to live. Oh yeah. But I'm gonna be honest, I think that's my last female character for the top 5. Like, after that point, it's either very much side characters or characters I just like vaguely. But nah. You see it where it is. Like, these people are just like, this is what peak Rush is gonna be looking for me. Rovian. Rovian's a cool character. Definitely fell off in the later seasons. Especially when Yuna went from her going like she's above a character from Yuna being like the main villain of the arc to I'm no longer necessary of a character. Like, she definitely was around, she did some things here and there, but Yuna kind of technically took a lot of Rovian's spotlight, right? Especially later down the line, once Rovian became irrelevant. But when she was around, I will say that she was a very good villain. Being the introduction of equipped spells, I say that she did alright. She did fine. But as a character herself, they did spend a bit too much time making her too much of a Roman knockoff, especially with the Curry situation. But, you know, she was nice. She did have her quirks of, like, humming random poetry, which was kind of cute at times, but once she lost her simp, it just kind of went south for her. But I will say, nonetheless, that she was at least pretty cool. I'll put her below the Luke. Yeah. But she was pretty nice. She was really cool. Rovian is great, but they dropped her off the Luke arc and just came back. Because of the tournament? Yeah, pretty much. She could have been so much more, but they just went very hard on, like, literally everything else. Kazmo, very cute. I'm gonna be honest, I don't care. Since it's a hat, I will put it above most of these. I'll put it above Uran, since it's a living hat. Chikako. We're going on to the Ko girls. Okay. I have to memorize. Okay, Chikako is the drill one, right? So this was part of Asana's crew. I don't have any memory of her being relevant outside of the duel with Sebastian. Like, most of these other Ko girls did have some relevance in the story. Let me just make it easier for you. The one I actually enjoy, Suriko. I'll put it in alright. She had interactions, she had some emotional time with like Subaru, and she actually became a little bit interesting in terms of like also as well how they portrayed her in like the video game too, which I think is kind of unfair. So let's actually retract that statement. Just a very cute design. I was like, for the initial Ko girl, definitely an icon. And actually just like her duel was a lot of fun, her interactions were fun. It was very nice, it was very nice. It's a shame that we didn't get to see much of her until like the very last few episodes. Chikako was there. In terms of design, I will say she's up there. Kenkako, once again, she was there. A little bit less of an interesting storyline or interactions and story. Once again, with a food club member, nonetheless. They at least gave her a bit of something to go off of before she like got buried away. Sagawa, she was a transformer. That's it. She was a big robot. Let's just say that's better than London because she was a big robot. Umiko, an announcer, a lazy person, a very just like heavily personality-filled character. I will. Yeah, fuck it. I'm putting that above Yuo. I think that Umiko is a lot better. Like, she was not relevant to much, but I think just like she just had like such a strong vibe and presence that just made her very much beloved. And her facial expressions. If they had her on screen more often, she would definitely have been like a much higher character. But for now, it's like she's definitely more of a side character than anything. You know, I just realized I have like two like story-based villains below characters like the Lukeman. Well, the Lukeman actually, no, that's a fair thing, but you know. Yuriko, she abducted Yuga. That is the grand extent of what Yuriko did. She abducted Yuga. So we'll put her above the Dino Man. Gengako was the announcer for like the underground dueling club, the underground dueling place. I'll just put her above Manya. She was interesting. She was very much just like a background character, more or less. And that's it for the Ko's. Yay! Yeah, my throat's starting to chew. Maguro. The guy that was here for like one duel and then spent a lot of time off screen. Did come back for time to time again for hanging out with someone like Yujin, which I thought was cool, but he didn't really do much. I loved his design. His duel was very fun against Yuga. I can't put him up any higher. I can't. I could put him up interesting. I'm putting him below the Bakuro pair, because at least these two were relevant for later down the line. Maguro was just fun for when he like pop up with like Yujin every now and then. He didn't do much. Naguto. Peak design. Okay, if I would actually have to rate Maguto, I would probably put him on like the lower end of cool, but Maguto's design and like his character is actually pretty good, especially for like a background character. And the fact that he now lives on like the back of Manabu's mind was very cute. It's a very fun little thing, a very fun singular like episode of them having. But it's just like a fish inside a robot costume. I'm putting him in peak design. Justifies peak design. These requires no further explanation. Basically, yeah. Listen, the heir to the household wasn't there, so they got a random fish and they named it the heir. End of story. Peak design. Menzuburo! God, Menzuburo came back so much. Menzuburo had a lot of good duels. I believe against Yuga. Was it against Yuga? It's either against Yuga or Luke, maybe. One of the two, one of the main characters, and against Sorko, I believe? More or less. Very fun design. Very fun side character. A lot of the food club actually got a lot going for them, like Sushiko, Nick, Menzuburo. All of them got very much high amount of screen time, especially considering the fact that they were mostly just like food vendors, but they constantly came back and they were, I don't want to say relevant to the plot. They were technically relevant to the plot because, you know, all the club members overloading the duel system on the moon, but in terms of side characters, he was at least interesting. I would put him above Khan. Let's do all the characters together. I will put him with Nick. Sushiko, I will have to actually put her higher than most of the others, because she was very much important. This was a very big loss for Roman, and also her design, her deck was really nice. I thought her character was like, wasn't overly like an overly smug character, just like, it was nice. It was, God, how do I explain this? You know what? No, she wasn't that relevant. Let's put her below Arya, though. Now for the rest of them. Menzuburo, the ritual player, quote unquote. One of the Rovian bandits. They were cool in concept. They didn't have much of a use later down the line. UTS. But don't get me wrong, UTS people. You know what? Let me just like make this like easier for everyone. Just like UTS in general, they were by definition technically pointless, but they were useful. They had some minor uses, but in all reality, they were just like there for story-based element, right? Is that all of them? Tazaki actually had a little bit of purpose. No, I'm thinking about Tazaki, and I'm like, technically Tazaki actually had a lot of like influence on the story, right? Like a lot of influence towards like Yuamu and Yuhi, I would say. So I don't know if I want to put him up there. Like I think he was actually pretty good of a character, even for a side character. Hell, I don't even know if technically by definition he is a side character. But I guess that makes these guys more background than anything. Okay, Tazaki we're gonna hold off. Yeah, fuck it, no, we're talking about, let's talk Tazaki. He did have relevance. Everything I just said would definitely be included, like his interactions with everyone, including Udius, him coming over the guilt of trying to like hide the fact that all the Valkyrians perished, him having like the mental breakdown of trying to like fight Asana to protect Udius, and it's just like, sorry, Asaka. It was a very emotional moment, and I gotta say, it's like, he truly cared for everyone. He put his best efforts in to make everyone's life easier, because he knew that it's like, they're all young, quote-unquote young. We don't know how old Udius is, honestly. For all we know, Udius can be 1,000 years old. Well, actually, I think we might know the age, I don't know. I'm gonna put him up in cool. I will put him up in cool. I think he deserves it. Like, the man, he did his best. He did his best in supporting everyone. That makes me feel bad for putting everyone else in Mimi category. But, let's be honest, none of them did as much as Tazaka did. Like, Yagi, I appreciate the costume design that he did for catching Meg-chan, but... Or the Chupacabra. Chupa Man? No. Django. Yudi's was probably young at the time, and then time travel happened, really old, came back 5 years in the future. Actually, oh, that's a good point. Yeah, no, he's old at that point. But I was thinking more along the lines of, like, how far does Konami want it to go for, like, saying... Like, he was, like, a military soldier. He was, like, a soldier. How young do they want, like, child soldiers over there? But then I thought back to Arc 5 and I was like, you know what? Yeah, Arc 5 was literally just a war with child soldiers, so I don't think they necessarily care about the age anymore. Django! More plot relevant. More plot, not really plot relevant, more of a plot device than anything. Having sort of like introducing Asana, right? Outside of that, he didn't have much of a use. I enjoyed his deck, his design was okay. That was basically it. But yeah, he was more of an introduction to Asana than anything, so I would put him up in like low interesting. But since he have relevance, let me like there. He showed up as a paper thin reform. Yeah, he did. He was showing up as like the how the Vogarians like are coming to extinction. Gundam has a long cultural impact tradition of child soldiers. Yeah. Yeah. Oh god damn it, that's right. I didn't think about it. That's right. A lot of the time when they were like doing anything Gundam related, it's like always like child pilots. Yeah. I didn't think about that. Ushiro. I loved his deck. I love, like, not related to the anime, but I do love the way that they supported his deck. I'm happy that it came out a little bit later than most others. But goddamn, they tried to make him plot relevant, but Geta really just like stole a lot of the spotlight with their interactions with Roa. It pains me to do this. Like, he's a very interesting design character and everything. They didn't give him enough screen time. They didn't give him enough story screen time. I will put him in interesting. They didn't give him enough screen time. Geta, I'll put him low alright. Geta was there for many reasons. Like, he was a very big development device for Roa, and Geta actually had story of his own. Like, they repeatedly gave him reasons to feel upset. Like when Ushiro ended up dueling in the team battle with Roa and Roman, Geta was upset. He was like, I'm feeling like I'm just the drummer and I'm being like left in the background and I'm being abandoned. You're thinking like you're the star of the show. So he tries to like rebel against Roa. Shona's like, oh, hey, look, I'm big too. I can be big too. And then, you know, later down the line, it's like, when he finally becomes friends again, he's like, oh, so it was all a lie then? Because you just like tribute away our monsters just like that. It's like you're giving away your friends to go get stardom. And I was like, he got so much story for like how big of a position he was in. And then Ushiro just got nothing. But yeah, I'll give Geto an alright, because it's like, he got story, and it was actually pretty relevant story. And it was really interesting as well, right? I'd say that's pretty good. Princess G, purely plot device. They didn't give her much screen time or anything, but I will say that they did at least make her a little bit interesting. Especially for Roman's development, it is pretty high. I will put it above Euro. Because she does interest. Well, you know what? No. Put her below Arya, actually. She was interesting. She was an interesting character. She was more of an icon for Roman, being up there. Not much outside of that. And also, you know, it's an okay design, but I appreciate her as an icon. Oh yeah, the other version of Princess G. No. Actually, I think that, didn't she do something? I don't remember. You know what? Let's just put her with the rest of them. Tazaki. The man did so much for Asana. He did so much. He truly cared about her. Trying to at least support her and her family's company. Just like, so much struggle. And he still did so much for her. Mad respect. I'll put him up there with Tazaka as well. Oh, wait, they're both just called Tazaki. That's phenomenal. Love that. The two of them, they had a job and they did it. they were fantastic supporting characters. They understood what they had to do. They understood the people that they were trying to talk to, and they did their best into helping out in any way they could. They were great. They're fantastic. Zomyoji, he had like a duel against like Taiga, and then just like he definitely did try to help out, but I don't feel like he had much. Ignoring the mask, he didn't have much of a personality. He didn't have much of a face. He was just kind of like there as like another grunt. Though somewhat interesting, I would say. I'll probably put it above like Chikako. Asana. Very big, very big. The way that they portrayed her was another interesting direction for a villain, right? But not in the same kind of concept as the Lug, in which we were talking about earlier, or Goha Yuna, or Zuijo. Asana was pretty much forced into being a villain, right? Her family's company was being bought out by the Goha company, or just was very much on the edge of just no longer existing, right? In order to keep her family company alive, to keep up her pride, she ended up just trying to follow Goha Corporation's demands, which was defeat Yuga and destroy Rush Duel. But throughout the duels and her time of being introduced, she showed genuine interest and enjoyment of playing the game, and like playing with Yuga. Like, they obviously showed it was like, man, I'm actually having a lot of fun. I'm loving interacting with you. Love interacting with Yuga. It was so much fun. And everyone else going like, listen, you gotta remember that you're here on like a job. And they're just like, oh yeah. Being forced into like becoming a villain when she clearly doesn't want to. And she just wants to be happy. She wants to enjoy herself. And then finally, near the end of her arc, she's actually going like, okay, you know what? Forget the Goha company. I'll just try to keep it alive myself, right? Yeah. And then just later down the line, you have the whole Taiga arc, and it's just like a very cute little transition to her own little story. Supporting the main cast is a lot of fun. Once again, my bias will show, I will put this up. And greatness, I will put it up. I won't say it was as heavy hitter as most others, but Asana definitely had a very, very interesting and cool appearance in terms of what would have been a villain. What would have been a villainess, right? Asaka, very story-relevant character, gave in more of a kind of insight of like how the buyout of everything happened between the Goha company and the Asaka's family's company, right? And very much actually did help Kwaito, was a big part of the storyline, was very fucking stupid in terms of like everything. Why would you give away the position of like the powerful sealed card by fucking going to it? She sold greatly. I will say her interactions with all the characters was really nice. She was very important to the plot. Not much of a character for me, but I have to at least give credit where it is due. She did do a decent job. Her interactions with Yuamu was nice. Her interactions with Kwaito was always enjoyable. Her presence was not greatly appreciated, but I do have to say she was pretty good. I would put her in all. No, I'll put her in all right for now. You know what? Fuck you, oh. Just Asana. Oh, man. Oh, so dry today. Scour. Another supporting character for Asana. Didn't do much. I mean, cool design, everything. Zomijo. Just because, Hat Trap, I love the fucking bird. You know what? No, just peak design. Peak design to the bird. Hat Trap was the duelist, by the way. Was the duelist. Keep that in mind. I'll put him in peak design because I don't feel confident putting him anywhere else, because it's like, Hat Trap didn't do anything. Hat Trap really didn't do anything for the story. Another supporting character for Asana. Like, I'll be honest, Tazaki fucking carried the entire group. Emotionally, but yeah. Bad Love, the replacement for Hat Trap, which is like technically worse version of Hat Trap, yeah. So I'll just put in I don't care. Nano. I don't know where to put Nano, I'll be honest. Nano could have been interesting. Nano could have been an amazing character. They just didn't expand on it. They really didn't. They just kind of like, they introduced her as a childhood friend of Yuga. And the whole sphere of ladybugs being mind-controlling things. I don't know what the fuck she is. Like, is she an android? Is she a succubus? Is she a demon? Is she a fucking ladybug? Like, a giant robotic ladybug on her head that's like maybe mind-controlling her? I don't know. Her supporting Yuga, Goha. It's just like, we don't expand on anything that she does. I feel like she is very much a wasted character for someone that could have been like very cool, especially for like Yuga's backstory. I'm gonna put her in interesting. I don't feel like she was expanded enough though to be anything else. Insect group from the forest. The insect ninjas, God, they got screwed over. I'm gonna be honest. Like, Yuga, or Udius and the gang really just kind of screwed him over. It's like Seven's got really rushed to the end, and the entire arc was exist. Yeah, fuck COVID. COVID really just kind of screwed us over, didn't it? At least we got like the funny reference with the face mask and like the Hunt versus Yuga duel, right? Yeah. But nah, like fuck COVID. If Seven's had more time, a lot of these characters I would probably put up higher, because it was just like they could have been so much better. But yeah, the insect group, the most I could say is that they got screwed over heavily by Udius and the gang, from them like turning the entire town into like a spaceship, and they just got like screwed over. But I will say it's like I can't say they have any use. I don't want to put them in useless, but I am gonna just put them in I don't care. This was the Mantis guy, right? Oh yeah, wait, wasn't this yeah, Hercules, Mantis, these were the two characters that were with no, right, and these were the ninjas, right? Once again, still useless. Still useless. Eda was the guy that was taking the photos. You know what? Put him bottom of interesting. He did a good job with the photos. Renosuke and Renosuke and Rans. Once again, wasted potential. Renosuke, I kind of feel like got screwed over by Rans, kind of taking the spotlight. But the fact that they were trying to get some level of individuality was a little bit cute. I can't say that they were fantastic characters, but in terms of like supporting roles to Gakuto, they weren't bad. In terms of supporting roles, they weren't as great as others, but I feel like they did a decent job in trying to like push for their own identity, right? But not enough to like make them the best things ever. I would put them in like interesting. Manya is going to be my split off for a lot of things. Ran, the most fucking forced character ever. I know there's going to be a lot of Ran fans out there. A lot of fans of like her deck and everything, design, everything. What is she? Oh, great. She's MIK. She's just very serious. Oh, but guess what? She has like a secret admiration for cute things. Fantastic. But we take that from like Taiga to an 11 or to like 100 out of 10, where it's like, first off, she's not that powerful herself like Taiga, and she's just comedically just like adoring cute things. Now, yay, yeah, she got fired, she got like dropped out of MIK, she was the catalyst for Demamu, she was constantly in the story, if not kind of not really getting involved, because like she had her little spotlight near the end of the series with her duel against Dull and... Was it against Dull and Otis? But I'll say it's like, I can't give her any high-level credit. I really can't. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll put her in like second top, so like I don't care. That is a personal opinion. I do think like she did have something going on, but I'm not interested in her. I don't care. I don't care about these two. Listen, the fact that these two tolerated a farting boss is more comedic than anything else. I don't care. The Endostar. I'm putting Yandasar in cool. Yandasar, once again, she had her own technically had her own storyline, and it was tied into the Lug. And she was a fairly prominent character, especially in development of Manabu's emotions, everything, or character development. And I didn't care much about her human form, but you know, it existed. But especially her cat form, I did like. It was a very fun character. They did a great job introducing a animal-esque character as a main story character, and I feel like she really balanced out everything. And she wasn't really too comedic. She was actually, weirdly enough, the serious individual in the group, where dealing with like Manabu's wackiness, which was a very good mixture. Yeah, I know, Ranran got like the third to last duel, and she still got screwed over the rest of the time. Oh, god damn it. I got a package at the door. Give me a hot second to, give me a hot second, I'll be right back. What am I doing? Yeah, just give me a second. I gotta get a package. Package secured. Yeah. But yeah. No, it's like they give her like the third to last duel in the series, and it's just like I don't know if she deserved it. But hey, at least she went out partying, right? Oh yeah, I was on Yandastar. I feel like I said I had to. Oh yeah, wait, I gotta get confirmation for it. Okay. Gakuto. Definition of wasted potential. They really just screwed over Gakuto in the entire series. They... Like, the peak of his entire career was getting a draw against Neo. And honestly, that affected Neo significantly more than it affected Gakuto. I'm gonna tell you that much. Like, the best they could give him was a fucking draw, if anything. There wasn't... I want to say I love Gakuto. I really do. Him kind of like peaking on the edge of his sanity, trying to change himself, eventually coming up with his own style of like the tradition of his family, which he was like... He at least realized that like he can't be held down by age-old traditions. He has to become his own person, do his own thing, right? But it's just like, they just didn't give him enough. They didn't care him enough. He was more or less just like a punching bag for most other characters that he just didn't do much. But I still enjoyed the small amount of growth he had, his design, his personality, and the way that he's like the interactions with him and the main cast was always just so much fun, even if he was like a huge stickler at like the start of the series. He did eventually become like very useful. Like, keep in mind, this guy lost against Uran. Of everyone, he fucking lost to Uran. But I still want to love Gakuto. I'm gonna put him in like alright. I'll put him above. Put him below you. It hurts me to do this. Well, I will say it's like purely just Konami screwing us over, screwing Gakuto over if anything. It really sucks. Manabu. I like Manabu, okay. Listen. Though his development wasn't as severe as most others. Instead of loving Gakuto, what if we just didn't do that? Yeah. Gakuto definitely didn't like heavily develop like most other characters, okay? Got me? That doesn't mean that he hasn't changed. He hasn't developed at all. Like, he definitely tried to make changes for himself. The result of those changes weren't fantastic. But it was... Supports fascism? Yes. Listen, I support our racist cop Maddox. Officer Maddox, yay! And his duels were pretty cool. When he was kind of stuck in the position of him going like, maximum pass, he's realizing that he has to change himself up, he has to actually become a different person, more of a different person, he actually does change the way he plays. And then, you know, he had his like later duel being against like farting elderly version of himself, then eventually like playing the most godlike combo against Otis and Doll, which I'm gonna be honest, if he went second, if Manabu went second with that hand, he would have won the duel in an instant. Like, Manabu got opened the OTK that I don't think any of Otis's deck could have prevented. He got held back because of Zuijo. It was a tag duel. He could have destroyed... He could have destroyed him at the end. Yeah, bro popped off Maximum Fusion first turn. It wasn't even like, oh, I opened every piece I needed. He comboed for that. And the thing about it is, like, he has done that sort of stuff in other duels. Like, he's developed himself to be an actually good duelist. He's actually trying to do his job. He's realizing over time, it's like, you know what? Maybe it's not like aliens are just bad overall, like trying to get to know people. He has a brotherhood now with Maguto, with a fucking fish. He has like a deep brotherhood with a fucking fish. The man has become less offensive over time. Like, bro, I pricked, I need your spell. Okay, yeah, Doll was also being held back. Doll popped off as well. We'll put like Doll and Manabu in the same tier of like skill level, yeah. But yeah, it's just like not as bad as Gakuto, but they still held back on Manabu from becoming like a god level character. But they ended up pushing him more of comic relief. But when he gets serious, he's like fully locked in. He's ready to be there and help out. Like, he's trying his best to support everyone, but it took him a long time to like push away from the ideals of MIK, right? Yeah. But yeah, personally, I know it's like a lot of people are going to say they don't like him. I think he's cool. I really do think he is cool. Not like greatness level, but he was just like missing something. Now, if we make Yu-Gi-Oh! 9 and it's another dimension of this, if they screw over that Gakuto copy again, I'm gonna be annoyed. Give Gakuto something to go off. Oh. Oh my gosh. But no, there's... God, I would rewatch that duel just for Manabu. Is Yu-Gi-Oh! 9? Oh, I'm sure we'll hear about it at some point. Just give it, like, less than a year. Gakuen. No. Okay, moving on. Listen, I appreciate the fact that he lost to a deck out, but fuck off. I'm so tired of your farting gimmick. I know it's meant to be comical, but I'm so fucking tired of you. Odo Yuga. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. I have to put him in my top 5. I can't. It is a bit unfair, I get it. Because he did come over into, like, season 2 or something of Go Rush, so he got a lot more screen time than everyone else in the series. The kid's really is just something. Like, I hover over pity, and I'm just like, no. He has, like, peak development. He has really good development. When he has to get serious, he needs to. He doesn't win. Yeah, that's, like, one of my only things that I dislike about it. It's just, like, he is used a lot of the time for development of characters, and he constantly has to lose. So, like, what is he had a big loss against Roman, which twice, mind you. Like, Roman didn't need to win the first duel. But no, he lost twice to Roman. He lost against Luke repeatedly. In, like, big situations, right? I'm gonna be honest, I believe he did defeat Gakuto, because no one's gonna lose to Gakuto, let's be honest. Oh, he was in Season 1 as well. Oh, right, because, Udius was saying about the mysterious guy who introduced him to Rush Duel. Right, I forgot about that. Thank you for telling me that. Yeah, Yuga just, like, this is his primary goal throughout the entire series of Sevens, is that he doesn't like the way that the current format is. He doesn't like the current way the game is. He feels like it's too restrictive in terms of, like, how all the cards are being traded, sold, everything. He doesn't like the pacing of the game. He doesn't like people coming out of, like, can't come back from the corners. So he develops his own game. He goes against the system. He risks it all for it. And, you know, it actually works. He's getting people into it. He's challenging more people to it. And whenever, like, a new challenger comes by, he goes like, I want to get rid of Rush Duel. And you guys just like, well, how about a Rush Duel? Let's have some fun if we're going to do this. And he's like, see, you're enjoying Rush Duel. You're having a lot of fun. And it's just like a lot of back and forth. But then he realizes at some point, it's just like, there are risks. There are going to be things that we have to actually do. And he has to get serious against, like, against Yuga, against Yuo, especially against Otis. Him slowly realizing is like, maybe Otis is, like, an actual problem. He has to get serious. And then near the end of it, he's like, I can't defeat Otis unless I move him out of the range of the Goha system. So he has to have this huge, big emotional moment, the entire development growth from, like, the start, from the first duel to last duel against Luke. And then the entire situation of the, like, his character in Go Rush being, you know, he's like, oh, he's happy. He's still trying to get people into Rush. And he's like, oh, you aliens? He hands out packs and all that. But, you know, it's just like slowly over time, people are realizing it's like, he just wants to go home. And all of that ends with a light shot of him having lunch on the same hill as Yuhi and Yuamu with Gakuto, Roman, and Luke. And I was like, the man did it. He went on a journey and he succeeded. But, Yuna didn't. Yuga's the type of person who wants to envision ahead of the future. 100%. Only people who Yuga loses to in Sevens that he doesn't beat later is Yuo and Roa. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because of, yeah, it was the Luke man that came and stole it. Right. Forgot about that. Yeah, God, I forgot how many times, like, Luke took the lead in a lot of the duels from Yuga for main characters, especially when he took over for Yuga against Yuga. Yuga versus Yuga, right. Yeah, but listen, I don't know if anyone, I don't know how many people out there will be upset by it, but I do personally think Yuga is great. Oh, 100%, yeah, no one's gonna argue. Dole carried. No, we actually went over that earlier. Yeah, 100% Dole carried that duel. When we were talking about Manabu and saying, like, especially, like, the final duels, Manabu and Dole, they carried. They did all the work. But welcome in, Hunkoto. How you doing? How you doing? Otis 100% win. Still remains purely defeated in solo duels. Hell yeah. Oh, especially against, like, the AIs. Like, hell, Gakuto defeated AI Otis. Like, that's just sad. Otis proving that he can't win a duel by himself. No. Okay, no, that's true. Actually, yeah. God, if it wasn't for the fact as, like, the last arc of Go Rush, Otis would have just as bad as a win record as Mimi. Which is, like, Mimi is purely defeated. So wait, does that mean it's, like, in terms of 1v1, Otis is the same power level as Mimi? Yeah, ayo, Otis versus Mimi, who wins? But yeah, actually, let me think about that. If he's on a Spellcaster deck, that means, like, the anti-Spellcaster stuff is pretty good, but that's up in the air. But thanks to Platina. Oh yeah, well... That's very difficult to say. Mimi is Otis confirmed. Fuck, you know what I just... You know, that's a good point. She was taken over by Mr. Goha helmet, so there is a chance that Mimi could be an Otis at some point. Oh god, if Mimi becomes Otis in, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! 9, I am gonna scream. Why? Because Mystery Girl, I think, became an Otis at some point. Near the end. Oh, man. Fuck Otis. I think everyone would be Otis. You know what? If it's like an infinite timeline situation, everyone would be Otis. Yuga's mom. I appreciate the fact that they have Yuga's mom existing, but she doesn't do anything. Like, she doesn't do much to the story. But I will say she's at least an interesting character, to the least. Let's put her above the tree man, the photographer. She doesn't know result do against Sue. Wait, let me think about this. She fought against Yuga, lost. She went against Swirly, I believe, lost. She went against Roa, lost. She went against Roman with her cooking deck, I believe, and she lost. Thinking. A duel was lost on her side, but there were so lost. I have to go back to my friends? Damn. Oh, is that what happens with Swirly? Oh, that's gonna BS. That's gonna BS. God. No, I don't. I guess Mimi doesn't have a W. Oh, where the drone took over. Oh my. Oh, so against Roa then. God damn it! I fucking hate those rules. Okay, I constantly have this argument with people of like, oh, it technically doesn't lose. Yeah, the drone did take over, I guess. I feel like that's an unfair result, but hey, if that means that Mimi is no longer a purely defeated record, I guess it's technically fine, right? Oto Uemu. I want to put her in my top 5, I really do. But her blanking out for an entire season and her being just like not really cared about early on really does push it for me. But I am going to put Uemu greatness. I don't know. Okay, you know what, wait, let me put Uemu up. Okay, let me rearrange this, yeah. I'm trying to think about this. You know, screw it, this is fine. Oto Uemu. Similar concept to, like, Yuna is, like, she wanted to inherit, kind of like, I'm using this as a term of phrase, not like the actual plot, quote unquote, inherit the will of Otis. She was going to become Otis because she understood. She was trying to think of like a way to save the Valkyrians. She became like this whole mysterious villain. I was a little bit disappointed at the time that our main girl was taken out of the main story for a while. And we had like this whole thing of like, who's Dark Meister? And for the even longer time, everyone was like, that cat that's with Dark Meister, that is 100% Yuamu. No one fucking suspected, okay, a few people actually suspected that Dark Meister was Yuamu, especially after the whole Zuijo situation, but she did pretty well as like the main villain. I will call her an idiot for having Yuhi with her that entire time, even though she was constantly watching him on screen, he attempting to betray her every 5 minutes. Yuamu created an entire race of people. She is effectively the same level as the creator. Yeah, she created an entire race from dirt. She created an entire race from dirt. Okay, but yeah, other than that, it's like she has had good development. I will say early in the series, I don't want to compliment anyone in like season 1 of Go Rush because that was an entire mess, like up until the end. But she did an amazing job trying to become the villain. Her taking over the duel from Yuga, her duel against Zuijo, everyone else. Her being like, just her development and everything is just like, even up till the last episode where eventually she did come out and was like, you know what? Remember how I'm like a god, I created a race of people? I have superpowers. I don't know how I didn't realize that until now, but I do. I think it was very good. I think that was not on the same level as Epoch and Roman, but I will say for a female lead who eventually became the main villain, which was a very rare, which is like a non-existent case, was really good. It was a really good story. I made a race of sentient life from a box of food scraps. He was the only stepped in because he recognized there's an easy W for grabs. Oh god, yeah, no, you're right. Oh yeah, by the way, a lot of people kind of like forget this. It's Uncle Yuhi, you know. He has a niece and nephews, a few thousand of them. Actually, I don't know how many Darkmen they are, but he is the uncle to all the Darkmen. He is their direct uncle. Since Yuamu is their mom, he's Uncle Yuhi. Yeah, get that out of your head, huh? But yeah, no, Yuamu, I think they did a splendid job making her a villain. The large gap in time that she wasn't around was very disappointing, was very upsetting, but it did make for a really big reveal for her being the main villain. Her interaction with Yuna was really great, everyone else fantastic. Especially with the Udias, great. I keep saying fantastic. We had a female villain before, remember? Queen from, oh wait, no, yeah, I shot, she shot that one. Does Queen qualify as a main female? Wait, okay, wait, let me rephrase this. Oh, fuck no, wait, what am I saying? I was gonna say a female lead that is like a main villain, but I guess that is technically would be a rarity and stuff. I did say female character being the main villain, but I don't know if Queen even qualifies as a main villain either way. As you said, first off, she did get shot, but besides that, it's like, I don't know how relevant that she was to be considered a villain at any point. Like, AI really just like broke into her house, into her jet or whatever, shot her, and then kind of went home. Like, I don't know how much relevance she had. Unnamed Darkmen come back, or is it just clones? I believe the Darkmen... God, did they come back? Is the question. I would like to insinuate that they probably more likely came back, considering the fact that other Darkmen did. But I can't say off the top of my head. No, I can't say that confidently. Wanted to set her up as one, and you know, nah. Yeah, true. I like Queen's deck, though. I love Alert Queen. I think the new support is broken, especially after the Chaos Alert Queen, yeah. Pretty good. Very fucking broken. Yeah. But no, I love you, Emu. That's the end of it. We're partial way through. Demamu. Fucking plot device. Very cute character, just a fucking plot device. It's like... interesting. Well, you know, let's put him on right. I can't say much for Dormammu. Like, he didn't realistically... Like, he had a tiny bit of growth, but it's like, he was mostly childish the entire time. He was there to make everything more convenient for everyone. Oh, you're in space, but you're a human? Let me help you out with a bubble. Oh, you need superpowers to, like, open a door or some BS? I'm just, like, throwing out spitballing random ideas. Like, okay, here you go. Oh, you need to, like, charge your disc or something? Sure, here, let me do this for you. Oh, you need some to, like, target for the main villains to go after for an entire several episodes? I'm here, but it's like... Dormammu was really much just, like, a plot device. I mean, he was fun, he was interesting, the duels that he had was cute. The dynamic of, like, the time skip, Yuhi and Dormammu kind of fit well, kind of made him interesting, but I'm sorry, Dormammu, I can't. I don't have much for you. Oh man, I wish this split between like time skip and pre-time skip. Okay, I guess Otis Yuhi was time skip, but directly after the time skip, I'm gonna say for Yuhi. At the start, Yuhi was fun. He was cute, he was really cool. His entire situation with like the Earth Dam are really nice. His interaction with Yuhi is a lot of fun. Immediately after the time skip is when I hated him for a while. Post-tournament, I would say, post-tournament arc, he did really well. Like, he was very interesting, he was very proactive in the plot. His entire situation with Yuamu was great, but in terms of, like, comparing to, like, Yuamu and Udius, I don't feel like he got enough. Similar to Manabu, they could have given him more, and he would have been more interesting. But I do think, in terms of everyone else, he is pretty cool. He was a pretty cool character, I liked him. His deck was great. The development in his deck into the entire story of, like, originally he was IT Dragon, and then he took Yuamu's deck to be playing Joint Deck. And then later down the line, with Yuamu's gone, he's like, okay, I'm gonna inherit Yuamu's deck, which was originally his, and makes that into one deck, and he becomes, like, more of a comic character. I get he's trying to be more proactive. When Yuamu became Dark Meister, he was trying to find ways to prevent it, and the way that he actually technically, quote-unquote, took the bullet, I say quote-unquote a lot today, took the bullet for Yuamu, was very noble, was very honorable, was a very good note. Hydrodrive? No, actually, give me a second. Yeah, now you got me curious now. I saw someone put that note up earlier. I don't know if it was you. Let me look this up. Let's see, duels? Holy heck, he had a lot of duels, right? He defeated Poco at some point. A duel that was taken over by Yuamu. That was a win. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. Unless that Poco duel from 133 was him using Hydrodrive, I can't say, you know. Wasn't exactly introduced. Oh, okay. Yeah, but it wasn't much of a punching bag, but man, they could have done more with him. Like, he could have been cooler. Yuhi Otis. I don't know. Actually, I don't know with this. I want to say it's cool. But at the same time, I feel like Otis Yuhi spent most of his time just screwing around. Like, in terms of villains, it wasn't, like, too crazy, but it was interesting. I'm gonna put him above Rovian, below Luke, in terms of villains. The sentimental damage towards, like, Udius and Yuamu definitely was there when Yuhi Otis appeared, right? And, you know, he had a good duel. He had a good duel against Udius. but all he, besides like the emotional impact that he provided on the story, and like a lot of the great cinematics, he just kind of like popped in and out from time to time, especially with like Suijo. But I will say for the times that he did peak, he peaked. Like, he did pretty well in those moments. But I will say the rest of the time I will be putting him like lower. Yeah, I can't. Putting him in like mid cool is definitely where to go. I know some people will probably like speak against it, but just like Yuhi overall, yeah. Seven's Rope support popping off. Oh yeah, it definitely is. It's a very weird spell. What is it called? Is it? Oh, paranormal. It was paranormal, right? Otis. Fucking Otis. He's like definition of like plot development. I'll say, God, I wish there was like a season 1 or like a 7's Otis and a Go Rush Otis here, because I would definitely rank them differently. Otis, I don't know where the fuck to put him. It's like Otis is so many people, like I can't put that anywhere. Let's put him. Let's put him in all right, I guess. That's like what, like the center of this? I can't tell. Otis is a very tough thing to say. Now that we know more about Otis, is like Otis isn't an individual character. It's a concept. It's an idea. It's a helmet. Him being everything but nothing. Him being the main villain, or just some random old man that you find in a shed. It's him also being like the drive for Yuga and Roa at a point, and just like, I don't know. This is so hard. Because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know if it's the guy or the concept. Let's just say the concept, put it in all right for now. We'll leave it at that. I don't know. I don't know. The creator, good plot development. I don't care. I put him at the top. I don't care because it was at least interesting. Kaizo. The man suffered for 2 series by Yuga's hands. The bot did his best. Did it best. He suffered. I love the shonen training arc with Sebastian. It was very funny. Interactions with Roman simping, or the Roman simping, it was something. Him being like the closest thing you had to like an emotional anchor for Yuga is insanity. Kaizo even still alive? I don't know! Like, I'm gonna be honest, even if he does die, Yuga would just bring him back to life just to bully him some more. At this point, I don't even know if Kaizo's alive. Like, he probably died several times over already, and Yuga just brought him back to life again. Like, this guy went through, like, the most hardships out of everyone in the series. Probably has backup data somewhere. More than likely, yeah. God, that is a fair point. Is Kaizo even alive? Okay, that's, like, a different, separate question. But, yeah, Kaizo was just, like, he helped out so much. He was heavily abused throughout the entirety of Sevens and some parts of Go Rush, but he was always there supporting. Not by choice, but he did his best. Just a salute. Let's just get a salute for Kaizo. Wasn't Kaizo in like the ship with him at some point? No, wait, was Kaizo dead at that point? Kaizo... Oh, God damn it. Robots die so often in Rush anime, I can't keep track of it. I'm still haunted by Neo versus Sebastian duel. The end of that duel is like, it's still traumatizing to this day. But nah, just... Yeah, Kaizo above Yuhi, I will not regret that choice. Doll! Doll, I'll put it in all right for now. Better than Otis, better than the concept of Otis. Other than his duel, like primarily his dueling. I don't even know if I can get into this, because that's the same argument of like the concept of Otis is like, it's so damn complex that I don't know if I can explain why I feel great about them. There's just too much happening. So why I said I was thinking about waiting for the dub and watching the dub beforehand to get more information, because it's like, it's so goddamn complex. Sebastian. Heart-wrenching. Painful. God damn it. I love Sebastian. Hey, Bram, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome on in. Just casually doing the most based sort of tier list, yeah. Yeah. Sebastian, heart-wrenching. Top 5 is questionable. It's questionable for me. It's questionable for me. I like Roa. It's just once his storyline ended with like Geta and Ushiro and Roman, he just kind of like existed. Peak design? What for Sebastian? I want to, okay, you want to know. Okay, let's, if it's peak design, I'm putting him second to Maguto though. But I do want to say I do love Sebastian. I do think he's fantastic. He was a great character, a great supporting character for Neil. A very funny character. A lot of, as I said before, the whole shonen arc with Kaizo was fantastic. Him being a chair as well, playing a chair deck, very cute, very funny. Every one of his deaths was heart-wrenching, but the moments between him and Neil of Sebastian saying, I don't want to become a mindless, like saying something like, I don't want to become a mindless drone for the Go-Ha Company. I'd rather die with my friend, or for my friend. He'd rather serve Neil over anyone else, but it's just like, and he actually took himself apart, and I was just like sitting there crying, and I'm like, damn. We just really had a character in Yu-Gi-Oh! Self-off themselves. I know we technically had that with like Dennis, but that was carding himself. I don't know if I want to count that. It was painful. It was painful. It was great story, and he was just like, every time he was on screen, he was so great with Neil. He was so much fun. I'll look the other way for now. I'll decide your fate when you get to Quai-Duel. Oh god. Okay, believe me, Quai-Duel is gonna be a bit of an argument for me, because I'm like, we'll say that for Quai-Duel, okay? It's like Quai-Duel is something. I have notes for him. I don't have physical notes, I have mental notes. Nail. Fuck. Oh. I'll put him at the bottom. Oh, God damn, I don't even know if I want him in greatness. God, this is so hard. Oh, I just realized, where's Roa right now? Wait, did I rank Roa? Wait, where the fuck is Roa, actually? Am I blind? Did I just forget where he is? Why are you blind? Oh, yeah, he's up here. Okay, I was like, I don't know why. I feel like he should have been greatness. I don't see him, and he's like, he's right there. He tied with Gakuto. He did tie with Gakuto. Okay, I'm gonna put him up in greatness though, but just know that I'm very hesitant about this, so I'll keep him at the lowest form of greatness. He is an interesting villain. He has no strife against, no hatred towards Yuga or anything, right? He had nothing against him. He was given a task. He said, get rid of Russia. He was like, okay, sure. I am like a super genius, and I'll just do it because, you know, whatever, right? And then he just like, his entry with Yggdrago, most iconic summon in my eyes in all of Rush anime. Most iconic entry of like any monster, any mechanic, anything like that, right? Someone's calling for me. Give me a second. I'll be back in a minute. The elderly were here, so I have to say hi. You know what? No, I'm thinking about it. No. Let's... Fuck it. No, I gotta do this. I can't lie to myself. Nail is great. Nail is a great character. I think introduction-wise, it was peak. After his loss with like Yuga is where it kind of went downhill. Manabu had the sense of mind, right? Where after he realized maximum wasn't enough, he is really hard to rank. He is very hard to rank, I'll be honest. Manabu had the benefit of like, after he realized get the maximum from MIK wasn't enough, he developed a new style. He tried new things. He went beyond that. He still played maximum, but he went beyond that. Nail is a very prideful character, and he has had many great interactions. He's very powerful character as well, being able to summon the stadium wherever the hell he wants. But his state of mind went downhill from there, right? A loss from Yuga, a loss from Asana, who became the second person, I believe, to ever defeat a maximum monster without a maximum monster. Is a draw against Gakuto, in like one of the biggest tournaments ever in the series. He kind of just went out of it, and he decided he can't do this anymore. He ended up like somewhat retiring to an extent, like he was working in a noodle shop. Dual Rowan win, would I help him so much? I'm not shocked that I know, right? Like honestly, Roa versus no, I think Nail would have lost that. I don't see an out for like Doom Metal out Yggdrago so hard. Like the only way for Nail to actually do anything is to like either have a card that makes Yggdrago unaffected or like a secondary boss monster that can't die to Doom Metal. But yeah, I don't think he wins that fight. But fuck, actually, you're so right in saying Nail is so hard to rank because it's like he is so story heavy, like he's so relevant. At the same time, it's just like he deteriorates over time, like emotionally and mentally and all that. And he doesn't necessarily ever have like a big comeback at all. Like he has a little epiphany here and there. Well, I think like the point where it's like he has the epiphany of himself is like the duel against Sebastian, seeing Sebastian's on-screen death. And that was basically the grand extent of his character. His introduction and existence was phenomenal. His deterioration was heart-wrenching. But the fact that they never necessarily closed it off is what's making this harder for me. Other Cybers and boss monsters showed us that off screen where Sebastian had his Yggdrago. Oh yeah, that was very fun. You're allowed to like him for story reasons, say he's not a great duelist. That is very true. That is very true. But the losses of Neil are very significant to his story and character development, right? Because I can't just pass this off as something like, oh, I'm Luke versus fuck, what's his name? What's the ant guy name? I don't know. Django, like Luke versus Django. I can't just pass it off like that, right? Because it's like all of his duels, all of his losses were incredibly important to him because he's realizing that it's like the peak of Rush Duel that he, well, what he assumed was the peak of Rush Duel, maximum summoning, isn't working as much for him. AKA he got power crept. But yeah, I 100% love him for story, and I love him for his losses. I think like all of it was great. I'm just saying that they never got to a point where he got closed off. He never chose to like change his way of like developing your thinking. He just simply kind of gave in after a point, right? Like he did try different motives of supporting League Drago, but he never went beyond that. Problem is Asana beating Nail, Roa beat Asana, so they would have to do that. Actually, like Roa should win it, but it would make sense for all of them to have one win against each other. Trust me, you think that's very... Okay, you know, that would be a little bit cinematic, but... You went... No, sure, yeah, no, I'd be down for seeing the fight. I'd be down for that. Like, have that, like, have Roa defeat Yggdrago, and then just the comeback is Nail developing, like, some new tech... You know, we have the level 8 boss monster. He could have just used that against him. Yeah. Man, I spent so much fucking time on Nail. It's just such a difficult character. But nah, it's like, Manabu, excluding personality, like, the way he went about changing himself in his dueling is how Nail could have been. That's how it could have been. Oh, I'm done with that. Zion. Phenomenal villain. Put him below Nail. One of the supporting characters for the Luke's group. It's like, he didn't even duel initially in like the 3v3. Like, he was just off to the side character, and then suddenly he just turned into like a villain. I don't want to say a main villain. But he just kind of turned into a villain. Like, he wanted to support his IKEA business, and it's just like, I find him more comical. I like his design, his appearance. Personality is so much fun. His power of turning everyone to furniture. His end goal, very funny. I know we just went from like this heart-wrenching story of Nail onto like a very comical character that's a tiny bit serious. We need this. But no, I think he's very fun. I think he was a great addition to like fill in the gaps of until like we get to like the more serious parts of the story with like Kawaii Duel and everything, right? I think this was before Kawaii Duel. Give or take. I don't know. I just thought he was fantastic. I know a lot of people do love him. I like his deck as well, but I don't think that was like enough to like push me to put him even higher. But no, there's a lot of Zion fans out there. Very good. Angie, Karen, Rimu. Don't care. Don't care. Oh, God damn it. Not... They were useful, technically. They had purpose. But I'm leaving them down here. I'm not going to put them in the Mimi category, because they technically had story-based usage, so I can't put them in Mimi. Then all of OTS should be in this category, but eh. Meg-chan. I get it. Story drive. You know, fuck it. Just... Where's the Chupa man? I don't know a single episode where it wasn't just about him simping. Like, I really don't. Yeah, technically they did turn into a maximum, but it's just like, we're talking about like the secretary characters, and it was just like, this whole thing with Tremello, it was a decent, they're simply just there as a plot device. They didn't have much going for themselves, is the thing. So it's like, similar to the Butlers, they were just a plot device for, you know, technically kind of supporting, but they weren't actively in the story trying to fix everything. No. But yeah, Chuba, like every episode he's in is always about him. It's always about Meg-chan, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, he has a good energy. It's just like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm sorry. I know people out there love him. This is a personal opinion. I don't care. He's just so tiring. It was cute. It was cute for the one episode. Then it continued. The sillies. Yay. I'm gonna be like individually like sorting everyone. I'll put you above him. Kura. You know, actually, from Kura, I might put up higher. Fumakura actually getting a level of like development by splitting off from the party was a very good turn, and that makes me think of like, if everyone else kind of like split off from Dark Meister, they could have like grown so much, which they have. Every duel they got murdered. But that's kind of like Sabius being like kind of a ringleader for this. I'll put him in All Ray as well. Oh yeah, no. Bruya definitely got screwed over. If they had a little bit more time, they could have given him his own boss monster. They could have made him more than just like a mommy issue sort of situation. Like, what is like, at the top of my head, like his entire personality and like history is just like mama assault towards young Death Star, and like constantly saying I love my mama and all that for like Dark Meister, and it's just like, yeah. It is a little disappointing, but listen, Yoyama has a lot of kids, okay? Not all of them can develop as well. At least they developed well with 2 of the kids. I will put Zayat a little bit higher, because they at least gave her an episode of development, right? Along with like repeatedly coming back. But I will say that she got enough screen time to develop something, to a personality, a sense of mind. The last duel, so it's the first turn and he wins the boss, but they flipped it for some reason. No. Yeah, it is pretty disappointing. Yeah. But Funaki Maria joining the main cast was a surprise. Was a surprise. Really good surprise. Whenever someone other than Zayden. Oh god, that's... That is, that hits too close to home, I'm gonna be honest. You're getting way too close to home on that. Yeah, no, there's definitely, like, an imbalance. You know what? This might be wrong. No, I gotta put him up more. I say the two... Because Sabius actually did put in the effort of looking into the whole situation with, like, Zuijo and Dark Meister and Dark Matter and all that. He put in the effort, the time and effort to actually investigate. Like, I have to give him more credit than that. The other two, no, I feel like they're appropriate, but no. The Darkmen, I love them. I do think they're fun. They were fantastic. They weren't even that much of a villainous group. They were just like, hey, our mama told us to do something. Great, we're gonna do it. That's it. They weren't actively just trying to destroy the world, no. They were just having fun. They were literal infants. Like, these individuals, they're less than a year old. Like, I think they're only like a few months old. They are infants. They are literal infants. This might be the youngest duelist ever in Yu-Gi-Oh! History. I didn't even think about that until now. Yeah, these are the youngest duelists ever. Like, unless there's like something out there where it's just like, it shows a fetus playing Yu-Gi-Oh or something, right? Does that exist? Yeah, because I think that they might even be younger than the episode where everyone turned into babies. Like, they might be even younger than that. Oh, never thought about that. Crazy. God, I might be overthinking this. I'm probably overthinking this. More likely. You know my, I'm interested. She doesn't do anything. She does not do anything. She's a like, as a cat, very good. I don't know if I judge this by the human or the cat version. If I judge it from the cat, the suspense that it gives is stupidly high. If I say the human, I'm annoyed because we don't know who the fuck the human is. So let's base it on the cat. CPT? Yeah, CPT is right there. Yeah, we just haven't gotten to them yet. 5 minutes after being born! Oh, that's true! 5 minutes old! This is a literal infant! This is a newborn baby out here. Okay, so 5 minute, like, less than an hour old, already dueling. CPT, youngest duelist ever. Thank you for pointing that out. I forgot about that. But yeah, just, listen, unless, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! 9 comes out and is another Rush anime, if Kiyomiya does not appear, I don't know what to say. Just for the sake of the suspense of the cat existing, for the sake of the suspense and mystery that this scarfed cat was enough to be interested in. Also, you know, the whole plot relevant thing with Yamu. CPU. I don't care. I generally don't care. CPT. Interest. I know the deck is cool. The deck is cool and everything. CPT is just a little bit weird for me, right? Because it was just kind of like, at first, yeah, no, I gotta say, she was just there. She was there. She was like plot convenience in some cases, but she was there. Interesting interactions, interesting birth situation. She was born from like curry bread. So it was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. She's supporting Yamu. She's like active. She's technically actively in the plot. It's just like, personally speaking, not like too crazy about her, but sorry, I don't know what, if CPT has a gender, but they were at least doing stuff, which kind of kept my attention on screen for them. They don't want to understand or get along with you. They hate and want to drive the ship into a star. Oh, God. You know you're screwed when like a 5 minute old child, infant, wants to like destroy everyone. But for a non-humanoid character, I gotta say, they lasted very long in the series. Like, not as long as like, okay, Sebastian is a bit out of the way, considering the fact of how many times he died. But like, what is it, like Kaizo, like not humanoid shape, just like human like characters, like they did exist for a while. Like for a non-humanoid like character, they existed pretty long. Good for them. Kopiko concept, love it. Concept, I love it. Character, nothing happens. I am somewhat interested, nothing happens. They got like Meg-chan support before the other boy, the Chupataro. Yeah. Hey, and you never know, maybe a future character for character tournaments. I'm telling you now, the concept is very fucking difficult, I'll say. I think maybe I'm allowed to say this, I don't know. You know what, I can't even say if it was approved yet or not, but it's probably fine if I say it. Kopiko was just like, we had the concept for the character tournament. I know this is not relevant to like the tier list, but you know, let me get like something out. He's like, hey, what if, you know, we give her a skill? It's like, start of the duel, you get the maximum, whatever. But every time she defeats the opponent, she cosplays as them and takes their deck. Which I was like, whoa, yeah, that's a pretty cool concept. But here's the issue with that. She has to win first. I'm gonna be honest, even with the maximum monster guaranteed in your opening hand, I don't think Yukai is gonna do much. I don't know. I thought that was a cute note. I just wanted to say, because I thought it was like, that was a fun idea. No, that's the grand extent of it. Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Maybe at the end of this, I might even show a little teaser for something I worked on for CT. Fisher Sky. Guy, like, didn't even sideboard into, like, playing against Yuamu. He literally brought an entire deck to fade us against one deck. Give her the Gaia deck. She beats someone in duel. She took that. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Yeah. No, we actually do have some on Gaia. It's a Guru rental deck. What do? You can rent a legendary duelist deck from an era of ancient eras of duel monsters. You have, like, I don't remember the names of the decks. The Champions deck, Gaia Knight. Sorry, just like you guys. Sorry, what's it? Yugi's deck. Sorry, Atem's deck or whatever. Gaia. Yugi's deck, Magnet Warriors. Harpy Lady. Fuck, I'm trying to remember all of them. Ancient Gear, Harpy Lady. Oh, I have a Guildford deck. Right, that was Joey's, right, wasn't it? Oh, right, Jaden, because of Hero. You know, I tried building a Labyrinth deck and a Barrel Dragon deck. But here's the issue with that. You can't. I'm gonna be honest. Why did coins have so many goddamn legend cards? That's besides the problem. What I'm saying is, like, why are so many cards legend? Like, goddamn. Right, sorry, Fisher Sky. An Informant. He sideboard heavily into, like, Yuamu everything. He was greatly plot relevant, but I can't honestly say I cared much. I'll put him in, like, the same category with these guys. Like, they were good informants. They were active in the plot. They just, I didn't think much of them, but I was very much aware that they existed. Ishida. I love the deck. The character themselves, I don't know. George Jersey. Yep, that's the grand extent of that note. Okay. Oka Surfer Go. One of the other 3-meter girls, which didn't get much screen time. Like, she got one episode and then she was just kind of out of there. I will say I do like her. I do like her. I love her design. I like the mini side story that she had going on. Man, I would have loved to see her and Kwaitel actually having, like, a developed relationship. I think that would have been cute. Not a ritual deck, I know. You know what's even wild is that we still don't have the other ritual deck of Noodles, which is really weird. I would have thought that we gotten those by now. But no, it's just like one episode for Oka Surf. I can't say much out of that other than that one episode being fun, and I love her design. Tamako Dunk. God, she's annoying. She is really annoying. I'll put her in, like, I don't care, but her design's cool and all. I don't... She's just kind of bothering me to an extent. Mitsuko. Okay, now this is heavily just a personal opinion. I think she's adorable. She does have some level of character development, and she does kind of fall off on, like, supporting in the main series. This one is a complete bias. Like, I just love her design, I love her character, personality, and all that. I just think she's great. She does have some minor amount of, like, development in character, especially with Zuijo, but 100% she falls off later in the series. Like, this is not going to be something that I think is, like, overall amazing, but I just like her. I think she's fantastic. I lied to myself, apparently, saying that's the last female. No messing is like slam dunk, not a power creep or anything, but who cares about Pyro? I like Pyro. I like Pyro. But yeah, no, Mitsuko is just purely just bias. I just love Mitsuko. I just think she's so much fun. The way she interacts with all the characters is so funny. I better find someone, lift the roof, open the top. Yes! Oh god, I forgot about that. Right, and like she was like, oh, I gotta look around for Otis. And then she's just like, this giant is like lifting the roof, terrifying everyone. And I'm like, damn. Like, you gotta think about this too, is like, everyone was already afraid of Okasur for being like a 3-meter tall, like, behemoth, possible monster. Now you just have like Mitsuko going around terrorizing the village. Like, not everyone knows the truth about like the Kappa-loving surfer girl. And now they're seeing like Mitsuko just like walking around, and it's just like everyone's just getting terrified. Oh my gosh, the second that they finally like had Mitsuko shed her initial robotic outfit, I was just like, I'm all for this. The fact that they even began with the like, well, I guess like the robotic outfit kind of fit with like the three mystery themes, but no, she's great. She's fun. She's so much fun. I know this like the smallest amount of dialogue, especially my love for everyone. I just like Mitsuko. Mystery Girl, fuck's sake. I don't know. I don't know. Mystery customer, mystery customer doesn't even fucking matter. That person became Mystery Girl at the end of the series. You know what, I'll just put her in like, I don't care for now, even though I do kind of care, but I don't fucking know. Normus, cool deck, cool design, useless character. There's gonna be a lot of these. Normus is cool hat. I'll put him with the other hat. Oh, Phaser. Introduction as a villain, pretty good. Storyline, very kind of relevant for a while once they kind of like split off into like the other timeline. Phaser kind of becomes their own, doesn't become really relevant, but I do like them. I think they were great. They were a good villain, very much a bit of mystery. I'm going to be putting them in cool. For their brother, Phaser Tremello. Maybe alright. Put them above Soroko at least. I feel like that's a little bit appropriate. Like Phaser kind of stole the show from Tremello, having them both out at the same time. Tremello was like fun, more of a fun character, especially with his 3 secretaries. I don't know what to call them. The Miracle Girls or whatever. But I do think that Phaser was more of an intimidating, more the big hurdle for the main crew, right? But you know, he was kind of quick-lived. He had his own arc, then kind of just like left. Gotta keep some boss level mystique, but I think he lost accepting his climax. I think that's probably right. So he is still technically a strong duelist. It's just like the issue is that the complete dropout from his climax is probably it, you know? I don't know, I just don't recall like Phaser coming up too often in that, guys, yeah. I mean, still cool, still a cool character. I say that and I don't think about the word cool here. MIK. Mimi level, you know what? Super useless. Very useless. MIK, I don't know what the fuck MIK does. Like, they go around the poke out with a stick. Shubaba, why are there so many just like situations? Okay, first off, Shubaba, the design and the character, very fun. His origin story being like a space alien dragon slayers, kind of also funny. I also played Gaia. Why, out of every character, the like one side character that comes up the most often is the one that can turn into a sword? He has been so frequently relevant in helping out the main cast. And all he does is turn into a sword and fly at something. He's come up way more often than he should ever. Which I find amazing. Which is beyond me of understanding, right? Who would look at this character, see him transform into sword, and say, it's like, that guy's gonna be somewhere. That guy's doing something with his life. Dino Squado Udis. Oh, we'll get to that in a second, but yeah. No, Shubawa, just way more useful than you think, and it's kind of funny. Oh god, wow, we are actually getting close to the end on this. Yukio, I fucking forgot he existed. Cool deck. Great reference on a classic card. He's not good outside of that. That's it. Velgear. This is a token Autobot when he is flying mode. Oh no, he's Skystream? I don't know the name. Yeah. Velgear. I don't know why. What? Put Velgear. Put the Valve Gear up on the, near the top. Like, Velgear doesn't have any vocals, right? He's there from like almost start to finish. He was there during the death and the birth. He's been very useful the entire time. His weird team up with like Yuga kind of confused me of saying is like Yuga's going like, I won't do it with any other dual disc other than Valve Gear, and I'm like, why? Skyfire said Skyfire. Oh. It's a very particular thing. I don't know, but it has always been there, being very helpful to everyone. It's just like Velgear doesn't speak. It's just the spaceship. It brings on such a positive energy. It's in every duel, technically. I think Velgear has the most duels simply because like he keeps turning into a dual disc. That's argumentative, but you know, that's up for like people to decide. Duty. Oh, I want to love him. I gotta love him. I gotta put him in cool. Other than like the very unique perspective of a duel lasting like a duel's lasting several hundred years is the longest duel in history, but it is another species that was on the extinction. Someone else that was there that chose to come out of like cryostasis, and actually another person that faced the end of the Valkyrian race with like head held high and wanted to be there at the final moments, like confronting UDS and everything, willingly given up their potential of life for the final message. It was very good. It was very heartwarming. It was very fun. Coin flip as well. Pretty good. But no, just their character was very nice. It was fun. Not too much relevance later down the line, nor after their initial debut, but they did have some parts of their time being very much relevant, especially being someone that can sympathize with like UDS. That greatly mattered in my eyes in the story. So I would say they are pretty cool. Dinos is kind of weird for me. I do like them. I don't think that they're like top tier character for me. I am going to put them above Tremello though. Dinos is another Valkyrian that just kind of got casted away by Zuijo, but at the same time they just started developing themselves. Like unlike Mitsuko, who outright had to like do things on her own, or did things on her own, accepted like the loss and rejection of Zuijo. Danos did still end up working under Zuijo, and also was part of the Extinction event. So it's like, there is a bit of a fine line of saying that they've developed a lot, or had much development, especially since they never really had that time away from everyone since they were technically extinct, right? They still had their final moments with Zuijo. It was very nice. Very fun. God damn, my throat is just like splitting open. I run through almost 2 water bottles. I'm at like 3 drinks left of 2 water bottles. Muta. Once again, kind of there. Honestly, I don't care. I really don't care. Muta existed. It was technically supportive character, but I don't have anything to say about them. That's it. Oh, we're on to Kwaiduel. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Kwaiduel. I want to say I can't put him down as my favorite villain. I can't put him down. Put him my favorite villain. Kwaiduel and Udius, both of them. Such good characters. Push him away. No, what am I doing? Muta, get in here. Now for my character in S tier. I'm kidding. No. They both had their time. They both had very, very strong presence in their respective parts. Even at some point, Udius and Kwaiduel even fuse into one character, so there are going to be arguments that they are the same character, but they're not. Kwaiduel, the biggest reveal I was amazed by was the note that he was always there from the beginning. He was the announcer, he was the narrator for the first episode. He was there during all the shenanigans of season 1, right? He was very, very adamant about like preventing the extinction event, or just not wanting to die, be a part of the extinction event, doing everything he could survive. Even having this huge master plan of like collecting 40 individuals to make into like the perfect deck, and like later perfecting said deck in the prime deck, which he lost with, by the way. And how relevant he was in like developing the needed energy in order to use the time machine. It was a very sad moment, and it was very heart-wrenching of seeing Udius needing to pierce through the heart of Kwaiduel, effectively almost killing him. Right? He, like, Udius shoved his fist through Kwaiduel's stomach or chest, pierced a hole into him, killed him. And then, you know, later becoming a part of Udius, but Udius didn't know that. And Udius had to, like, live on knowing that he had to kill off one of his brethrens. And then suddenly, the dramatic reveal of another amazing summon of Chaos Galactica Oblivion, trading places in the duel against the Darkmen. Crazy. Up until like the final point where we had the anime character collider, particle accelerator, of like trying to mix him with a cat, turning him into a femboy, a cat femboy. I'm kidding on that note, but y'all could have seen this coming a mile away. Y'all should have seen this coming. Like, they did. Yuga, I loved him. I loved Yuga to death. All of that. Oh my god damn, did Udius have to go so hard in the series. We spent entire season 1 happy-go-lucky Udius just having fun, and ending it off with like a little bit of dramatic spice and confessing his love to Zuijo into a bit of complex emotions, dealing with MIK and learning some stuff from like Kwaiduel, into becoming depressed, into a sheer downward spiral of emotion from the him learning about a potential extinction event, from all of his comrades. And to eventually Tazaki revealing the fact that all of his brethren have died. He didn't get any final moments with any of his brethren, but they all died. Not only that, he had to fight Zuijo, and he knew that by the end of the duel, Zuijo would lose, or he would die. Zuijo taking a final hit. He watched the one that he cared for the most die in, quote unquote, die in front of him, along with everyone else, including Duid, who also gave up their life in order to comfort Udius. Or was it comforting Udius? No, sorry, it was I think that was during the duel with Tezuka, I think. I'm sorry, I'm getting my scenes mixed up. So he's an emotional spiral. Even when he went to the park to try to feel better, he was still a mess. But then, he had a sort of growth, deciding let's go into an adventure. Even looking for Yuamu in the case. He has to grow, he went off into space. He had this entire season of just him trying to cope with the fact that everyone's gone. And then this entire situation with the Darkmen come into fruition. Him realizing that there is technically a way to save everyone. We realize all of his countrymen are back being t-shirts. So there is hope. Right? Just for us to go back to over to him reflecting on everything that happened, his split with Huaidul up until like the very end with his conflict, like mental conflict against Otis up until like the final duel. It's just like, it was an emotional train seeing him change for everything, for the better, for the worse. He was very naive at the start. He was an idealist of thinking, I don't want to fight in a war. I don't want there to be death. I don't like killing. I just want to live. Him finding comfort in playing Rush Duel, thanks to the mysterious guy. Also, yes, the creator gave him eye beams, which he heavily abused, by the way. Up until later, he just develops so much over such a long period of time, just getting thrown all these problems, realizing that he can't avoid such things. And I just think he turned out into a phenomenal character. Choosing to abandon, once again, abandon the ones closest to him, Yuamu and Yuhi. But he still stayed strong and survived until the end. I feel like that's a very appropriate ranking for him. It was not my intention to have him be last. That's just how the tier list was made. Yeah. Here's I guess now, just like a final look through. My top 5, Udius, Yuga, Apoko, Roman, and Mitsuko. Those are my top 5 characters. Now, it took significant... I'm getting out. I thought it was going to be like an hour and a half. I did not think it was going to take us up almost 4 hours. I gotta say, this was significantly harder than I thought. It was significantly harder. Because there's a lot to many of these characters. All of them have, if not some minor relevance. Ignore these two. Have some level of minor relevance. It was... oh, God. Just thinking through all these characters, going back and actually thinking to, like, all the episodes that they were in, everything that everyone's done, to, like, what they were doing, what they were saying, how they interacted. Oh my god. That hit me too hard. That hit me so goddamn hard. Once again, it's 3.5 hours. I didn't think it was gonna take me this long. Oh man, I'm out of it. I'm so done. Oh god, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm happy I did this. This was fantastic experience, especially hearing all of everyone else's like perspectives on these characters, everyone having like different opinions. I understand, like, once again, this is fully opinionated. Like, most of the people are going to say is like Luke is S tier and Maguto is S tier, Kaizo is there. I might have not had a continuous bias, or there was a strong bias for most of these characters. It was not coherent. Blame chat? You can blame chat. You can partially blame chat. You can also blame chat that peak design exists. But I'll be honest, peak design is worth it. Peak design is 100% worth it. Yeah. Yeah. I have absolutely enjoyed this journey of Sevens into Go Rush. Everything about it, all the constant weekends of spending it with everyone, watching the live viewing of the Go Rush episodes as they're being released. All the commentary, all the suspenseful moments, all the constant times just like hearing people bawling up, crying in scenes, and I'm just like, yeah. My voice is getting hoarse because it's like, my throat is so goddamn fucking dry. I have 2 sips left. I had 3, but now I only have 1. Oh god. Yeah, I'm getting like too emotional now. But yeah, it's just been a very, very long journey since like, what, 5 years ago? Start of Sevens up till now, the few years of Go Rush, the just change finally, and I gotta say, I would still cry if I watched the final episode again. All that time, I got to see Yuga finally returning to his friends, him actually sitting there having like a sandwich, everyone. No, I don't even think that was the case. He was fixing something. It's generally great. I loved everyone. Even if I did say, like, fuck Mimi, screw Gakuen, Chapura, like, they still made Go Rush what it was. It was still a lot of fun. I loved it. It was greatest series I could have watched. Like, I love the other Yu-Gi-Oh animes. Go Rush and Seven is definitely, like, one of the most experiences I had in my life. Yeah. I will be posting the tier list image later. I will be putting them behind like spoiler marks so I don't like, so you know, anyone who wants to watch the stream, they can. But yeah. Yeah. Thank you all for stopping by today. Absolute pleasure having everyone around. This was phenomenal. Once again, I am so happy to have everyone here. I'm grateful for everyone that came by to chat, just talk about your favorite parts of the anime, favorite characters, all notes, details. Happy of knowing everyone that was here along this experience of watching the anime. This is not my last stream. I am going to be streaming. I'm still streaming Rush stuff. Yeah, thank you all for stopping by today. I guess before anything, before I sign off for today, if nobody noticed, they're little stars. Oh, gosh. Yes. Thank you all for stopping by today. I think this is about a view. Thank you to all those who came by to chat, all the lurkers as well. Thank you all the new followers, all the new subs too. Special thank you to the continuously growing Rush TCG community. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are so much fun.